Hi everyone. I'm Linden and I will be the trainer for today's training on financial and timeline planning for HDB sellers. Everyone can hear me? If everyone can hear me, can we put the number 1 into the chat group, the chat room? Can I? Okay. So today's training, I will actually be splitting into 2 main parts. One is your financial training, then the other one will be more of your timeline kind of planning. So because today we're actually starting at 10 o'clock and then we will end at about 1 o'clock. I guess for a lot of us, this will be the first activity or first training of the day. So maybe what I'll need everyone's help because this is through Zoom, so there isn't much interaction. So for my training itself, I will be doing more of practice as well as how to actually go and count and how to actually go and draw. So this one I will need all of your help in terms of your participation. So just to start off, I want everyone to wish everyone in the chat group as well a very very good morning, so that everyone can come and warm up in the morning already. So as of now, we got about 80 plus participants. Good morning, everyone. Okay, then I will need your help as well. For this training, can you all help me turn on your camera as well? Those cameras that are not on, can you all please help me turn on so I can see all of y'all? If not, I'm talking to one blank screen every day. I do training, I talk to one blank screen. A bit boring. Y'all can help me? Those camera not on. If eating breakfast is okay, I also want to see what you eat. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. I can visually eat. Can y'all in pajamas or what? Y'all need to be a bit better lah. Okay. So what? So those that the cameras are not on yet I will start to call your names one by one until everyone's camera is on. Then we will start training. Still got a lot of people's camera not on yet. Okay. It's okay. Those that don't have cameras on the PC, it's okay. But I think it's time to go and start getting your webcams also so you can do your Zoom presentations. All right. So for this, for in terms of today's training itself, I will actually be splitting into 2 parts. First 1.5 hours, we'll do the financial planning. Then second 1.5 hours, I'll give you a short 5-minute break. Then second half, I will go through the timeline planning. So this one is a lot about calculation, a lot about actually practicing and drawing. So in terms of today's lesson, is quite packed. So what I need you all to do is to really go and practice when I give you all the practice to do, as well as when I give you all the timeline planning to go and draw. You all really must go and do. Okay? So we will start off basically just a short introduction about me. I started in this property industry since 2009. I've been in this industry for about 12, 13 years. I started when I was 21 years old after army, before university. So so I had quite about 10, 11 months of free time. So I came into to do property. Then I went to study for a few years and I did part-time property. Then I came back full-time after that. So when I first started come back after university. I didn't really have a lot of money. So last time, how we do sales and all that, a lot of times we throw money through newspaper ads, and I didn't have money to do that. So what I did every day was I went to go and do door knocking and Pongo because it was a very young estate. I used to do door knocking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Then evening about 7 to 9 p.m. Then Saturday evening and Sunday morning I would do a door knocking session also. Because I got no money to spend on advertising, so I really have to go and use my time. So that is how I actually started the business, and I actually bought my first private property when I was 25, and I started to buy and sell properties. So after that, I sold that to buy gem residences, and then after that, I sold it off recently to buy copper also. So this is what I actually the reason why I'm sharing this with everyone is because this is what I actually share with my clients also. So what I want you all to take away also, this is to have this kind of origin story in a sense whereby you can share this kind of stories with your clients. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do property was because I wanted to buy my own property as soon as I could. I wanted to start to grow my own property. Of course, at the back of it, the fundamental was that I didn't come from a very rich family. My family actually almost went bankrupt when I was a kid. So I didn't want to actually go through that growing up or moving forward with my life. So this is one of the ways where I found, I realized that I want to start to grow my wealth through property. And that's the exact same thing that I want to help my clients to grow their wealth through property as well. And especially for the older clients, it's more to grow their retirement fund. So this kind of origin story is what you all have to come up with your own story to share with your clients also, so that at least they know where you're coming from and how you can actually connect with them also. So that's just a bit about me. I'm also running my own division, Linden division with my own guys. I'm doing training, and I'm also the ICs for a couple of projects as well. So definitely the thing about PropNex PNG is that when I first came into PropNex PNG about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think. Previously, I was in Dennis, Sweden. I came over. Kelvin also mentioned to me that one of the things that he wants me to really embark on coming to PropNex is that he wanted me to buy my own property as soon as I could. So that's the thing that I took away. And within about 1.5 years of joining PropNex, I became 25, and that was the time where I bought my first small private property. So for those that already have property, good. This if let's say it's time to, you can actually sell this year. Is actually a good time. If you haven't bought your first private property yet, this year is a very, very good time, because now you can actually start to see places like your Pasir Ris are hitting $2,000 per square foot. There are CCR projects that are 2,000-ish a bit per square foot. Just to give you reference, my copper when I bought it was about 2,002 per square foot only. So you can actually find good deals in especially this year, because the market is actually moving up very fast. Okay, so for today's I'll dive straight into today's lesson. Today's lesson is extremely important because main two things for HDB that are the most complicated is your financial calculation as well as your timeline planning. Timeline planning is one of the most tedious things in your entire HDB transaction, because in terms of your private property, your commercial and all that, timeline and all that is very, very straightforward, and you leave a lot of things to the lawyers to do. For HDB transactions, why is it so important? Because if you screw up any of these parts of the timeline, your completion might not take place on the day that you want to. So what it means is that your cash and all that, your CPF cannot come back in time to purchase. So a lot of times, why people screw up their HDB cases, a lot of times is in terms of that timeline planning. So second half of this lesson, the timeline planning is very, very important. Later, I'll give you a 5-minute break. When I give you a 5-minute break, you must really come back on time, because second part I will start on time and I will not go back one. Okay. So in terms of today's calculation, in terms of today's scope, I'll go through the basics of your seller's financial calculation. Then I'll go through a few scenarios, three main scenarios: so sell HDB contra, sell HDB buy resale, HDB, sell HDB buy resale with a second HDB loan. Then I'll touch on a bit on upgrading to private new launches as well as buying a BTO. So for today's lesson, I will try to make it as simple as possible in terms of your financial calculation, in terms of your timeline planning. The thing about HDB is that there are too many different scenarios, too many different permutations to go through every single kind of plan. So I will be going through these three or four main scenarios first for you to get an idea of how to do, how to plan, how to count, and then from there I'll give you a bit of homework to go and plan as well to practice. So I just need to start off by saying that I do not know everything about HDB because there are too many things. Like you ask me what is the grant if the income is $2,384. I need to go and check the table one. I do not know everything, but I know what you need. What as an agent, what do you need to know? You don't need to know everything, but you need to know majority of the things, and you need to know if you don't know that thing, where do you actually find out from? Is it HDB website? Is it from the trainer? Is it from your training manual and all that? So all these things is are what's important. Okay, so I will go straight into it. First off is the financial calculation for HDB sellers. So whenever you meet a HDB seller, what's important to know is that HDB sellers will always want to find out one thing: your cash proceeds. Correct? Can I have a bit of your participation here? Who currently owns a HDB? Maybe you can help me type in the group chat. Hui Zhen says not yet. If not yet, then maybe you can aim to go straight to private property today. Okay. So for those that own a HDB, if today you want to sell your property, what's the most important thing you want to know? You always want to know how much cash proceeds you will get back after you sell, correct? So to the seller, it's the exact same thing. If they're going to sell their property today, how much are they going to get back? So first thing first, we need to use an expected sale price. Then you less off your outstanding loan. Outstanding loan can be in terms of a HDB loan, can also be in terms of a bank loan. Then after that, you less off your CPF refund of seller 1, less off CPF refund of seller 2. Okay, this CPF refund, what exactly is it? So CPF refund refers to the CPF that you have used plus the accrued interest over the past few years that you've been staying there. So how I always will explain to my clients is that CPF refund essentially is the CPF by right you're supposed to have plus the accrued interest that is supposed to grow in it if you didn't use for your house. Okay, so later I'll share with you how to get that also. Then you'll less off your legal fees. For today's calculation, all legal fees we will use 3,500. Okay, so I repeat, we'll use 3,500 for all legal fees calculation today. This 3,500, why is it so? Legal fees, we can come in two forms: HDB lawyer, private lawyer. HDB lawyer, typically you're talking about less than 1,000 should be enough, up to maximum 1,000 plus lah. However, for law firms, it can go up to $1,000 to $3,000, depends on which law firm you actually find. So this legal fees, I will actually use the upper limit. So this is what I will share with them. Mr. Seller, I will use the upper limit 3,500. This one you can go to most law firms, it'll be lower than this lah. So I'll just use this for calculation purpose. Then commission wise, How much is the standard commission for selling for for PropNex standard? Is it, y'all help me answer in the chat group, is it 3%? Is it 4%? Or is it 5%? Huh? Only 2%? Everyone all typing 2%. I thought it's 3, 4, and 5% one for PropNex standard. Okay, so one of the trainers, Eric, also will share with. Have you all gone through Eric's training yet? Eric Yo. He got teach you all how to do home staging, how to charge them a bit more, right? Okay, so that one will be his lesson, not my lesson. For today's lesson, we'll just use 2% plus GST. This GST is very important. My very, very first case in the property industry, I totally forgot to count GST. When it came to the commission paying that part, my client don't want to pay me GST. Because he say, you never count GST, what? You never tell me in the first place, ma. So as a new agent last time, what did I do? Okay lor. Okay, Mr. Seller, you pay me 2% cannot, I accept GST. I will absorb the GST. No choice, ma. Correct? So what you need to remember, your commission, first thing, this one very important. You must also remember your GST. So some of the clients will say, GST, you just absorb lah. So I always will share with them, Mr. Seller, the GST is really not we all collect one, it's government collect one. Not that, it totally doesn't go to us. So my 2% is what my service fee to you and my marketing fees that I commit to you as well. So this is what I'll share them. Okay. One more thing, your expected sale price. How do you get this expected sale price? So let's say I have 126 Pongo or H-View, I think, or whichever in Pongo. 0405. How do I find the expected sale price for this unit? Can you all share with me? Can anyone share with me? Where can we get the valuation from, or in terms of how much should we actually sell our property for? Banker can give valuation for HDB. HDB website, HDB resale website. Okay, so expected sale price, there's a few ways to do. One way is, of course, to go to HDB website to check what are the past transactions. If not, you can also use our the paid apps like your HProp, SoReal, and all that, SRX, XValue, to give you an estimation also. Another way is to to get the bankers to do an indicative valuation. In our PA app also, we have our UOB estimated valuation. You can also call your bankers, your private bankers, to get them to give you an estimated valuation from their valuers. Because if they are taking a bank loan, buyers are taking a bank loan, banks will also have to do their own valuation. So these are the different ways where you can actually get your estimated sale price for the calculation purpose. Okay. Then from there, you less off all these things, then you get your cash proceeds. Okay. One thing I need you all to take note of is that there was one unit I did at Ang Mo Kio. It's a very, very old unit, 30, 40 years already. So that time I did HProp, H fair value, and SRX X value, and the UOB valuation. Sorry, that time no UOB. So I only did the H fair value and the SRX. H fair value gave me 420,000. The SRX that time gave me 480,000. So the gap actually is very big. Because typically when you go and do this kind of valuations, it should be maybe plus minus 10, 20,000, that kind of thing, that kind of difference only. But this one for HDB, the gap was actually quite big. So I also don't know how to tell my seller, hey, should we sell at about 420 or should we sell about 480? So what I did was I went to go and ask a couple of bank indications. So the bankers actually got back to me. The indicative value was about 460 like that. So it was closer to this SRX range. Not to say that SRX is more accurate than H prop or what, just that for this unit, that valuation was closer to about 460. So I used about 460 to calculate for my clients. So please take note, if your the gaps are very, very big, you can actually use the bankers for a slightly more accurate kind of valuation range. Okay, so we will first calculate what's the cash proceeds. So in terms of your CPF refund, those of you that have property under your name, log into your CPF website, go and click on my statement on the left side, click on property. After you scroll down, you click on my public housing withdrawal details. Then you screenshot the statement. This is very important. I need everyone to take note when you're extracting the CPF refund for your clients, you need to screenshot the statement. I had one case whereby my seller, the wife, told me that she didn't have any CPF usage. So confirm her CPF refund will be $0. She told me confirm is 0 because that time when they bought the HDB, she was still a student. So confirm got no CPF usage. Then when I asked her a few times, can you screenshot the statement for me? Or at least log in to let me see lah. She refused. She keeps saying, confirm, I guarantee one don't have. There is no CPF refund. At the end of the day, when we go to acknowledgement stage, HDB will give you the calculation, the finalized calculation. At that time, finalized calculation, her CPF refund suddenly become, I think 50,000. 50 or 60,000. Theirs was a break-even sale, which means to say their negative sale was 50K. Then she was very unhappy. Then she keeps saying, hey, how can it be? That means this one you calculate wrongly. And I say my calculation is correct based on what you give me, but what you don't give me, I don't have. So the thing about it is that what she realized is that yes, there was a grant given to her even though she wasn't working. So when the grant is given to sell buyers when they buy a property, the grant is given to them to their CPF account directly, which will be deducted for their purchase. So for example, their grant is 30,000. The grant given to her after this number of years, she need to pay interest about 20,000. So all in all, add up to about 50,000. Hence, there was this 50,000 CPF refund. So this one, please take note. No matter what your client say, try your best to get the statement. So this one, I learned my lesson really. Just tell them they have to screenshot the statement. If not, your calculation will not be accurate. Okay? This one, please take note. Then you repeat for seller number 2. So when you log in, this one is the old platform, but the new platform looks quite similar. On the left side, we'll still have the word statement. This is the actual statement that I want you all to take note. It will look like this, white one, black and white. So what I always will share with them, Mr. Seller, you use 51,000, your accrued interest 4,888, very hot one. So total CPF with accrued interest, that means your CPF refund is about 56K. Okay, so please take note, this is for seller 1. This is for seller 2, 47,324. Later calculation, you all will use this. Okay, one thing I need you all to take note. Why do I need you all to see this page? Because you realize this 47,324, it has to match. I need you all to go down to look at important notes, note number 2 here. If you're selling the property before 55 years old, the estimated amount to be refunded is 47,324.96, exactly the same as here. Okay. So when you're purchasing a house, a HDB or private property, a residential in Singapore, you can use CPF. Which account does the CPF come in from? Is it OA, SA, or MediSave? only OA can be used to purchase a residential property in Singapore. Yeah. Okay, why do I say this figure must match this figure on top? Because certain number of years in Singapore, when economy wasn't doing that well, the government allows some people to use money from their SA account as well. This is not very common, but there are cases where these two figures don't tally. For example, on top put 47, at the bottom put, let's say, 40,000, which means 7,000 is actually from the SA. And there will write one. 40,000 go back to OA, 7,000 go back to SA. So it will still tally one. Just that what I need to do is that in terms of selling, you need to use this figure, 47. But in terms of purchase, you realize your purchase, for example, if only 40 go back to OA, your next purchase, only 40,000 you can use from OA. The remaining has to go back to SA, which at current timing, you cannot use SA to purchase. So this one is very important. Please take note also. It's not very common, especially for the younger buyers. This one will not affect them. It's for those slightly older ones when Singapore's economy wasn't doing so well. I think a couple of years, a certain period, government allow SA to be used to pay house. So this one just take note. Okay. Now, outstanding loan can come in two ways. One is your HDB loan. One is your bank loan. HDB loan basically log into HDB website. You click on my HDB, click on my flat. Then after that, you just need to screenshot the financial information. It will look something like that. So this is the amount. Okay. Then the other thing, since they are already logged in, get them to screenshot here also, because here will write who are the flat owners. So you don't need to do an ownership search for them also. Okay. Second kind of loan, bank loan. So when I meet my clients, I always will tell them bank loan, generally they should receive their statements from the banks every couple of months for most banks. If not, let's say you're meeting them at 9, 10 o'clock in the night. They don't know how much is the outstanding bank loan. What do you all do? You call the bank, the bank, no one. They cannot get anyone from the department. Then how? Tell them, tomorrow, then we calculate tomorrow, then I come back. Okay, for bank loan, don't need. For bank loan nowadays, most of them will have iBanking. When they log into the iBanking, basically they can actually check how much is the outstanding loan also. So for bank loans, there's a few ways. Call in. If not iBanking, if not their monthly or every 2 months kind of statement. From there, you can actually see the outstanding loan. Okay, so first example, what I need you all to do, I need you all to help me calculate how much is the cash proceeds if today we sell our property at 500,000. So I went to go and do bank valuation. Today our property, Mr. Seller, is around 500,000. Calculation purpose, we'll use about that. Okay, I'll give you all a few minutes to do this. I need you all to come out with our outstanding loan. Outstanding loan, just now, previous pages you all have, right? You all have the manual. Outstanding loan, then less off CPF refund of seller 1 and 2, previous pages as well. Legal fees, like I mentioned, 3,005. Commission, 2% plus what else? Can you help me? Commission is 2% plus GST. Okay. I need you all to calculate for me what is the cash proceeds here. You all got 3 minutes. Okay. In terms of the cents, my calculation, I never include all the decimal point. So how many cents, all that just ignore. Just calculate the dollars only. Agnes gave answer 204209. Okay, when you are done, when you have the answers, you all type into the chat box, can? Why everyone turn off their camera already? Just now so many more people turn on the camera. Okay, y'all got one more minute. Why all go eat breakfast, never show me? Okay, for those that have the answers, can you all type into the chat group? Then we can all check each other. Two zero four 209. How about the rest? Esther Ranford, thank you. Catherine. Any more? Any more? The rest all never do. Okay. So I will go through the answer. Answer 204 209. Correct. Okay. So for those that want to take picture, this is the slide that you can take picture of. If not, just fill up. Just fill up the blank lah. You all have the manual, right? The book. Okay. So you for calculation purpose, you can just write that lah. Okay. If you have any questions along the way, just feel free to ask in the chat group. Then from there, I'll try to answer as much as I can. I also see some experienced agents in this chat group also. If you all can also, if I miss out any questions, maybe you'll help me answer also lah. Okay. What I need you to take note also, one more thing, is that if your seller is 55 years old or above 55, you really need to read the fine print because on the 50, if the seller is 55 on his birthday itself, the retirement account will open on that day itself. So retirement accounts, some people they haven't met the minimum requirement sum. So if they sell, some of the CPF when they sell, not everything will go back to OA. Some have to go in to go and satisfy the retirement account, the RA account. So what happens is that, especially if you are below 55, like my uncle, he was 54. I think in about March, he was a couple years ago, March, he was going to approach 55. So at the time, he sold his house quite a few years ago, but he haven't buy yet because he was staying with my grandmother to look after her. Then the kids were getting a bit bigger. They wanted to buy another house of their own. So at 54, 55, they know, in January, they start to look. March is his birthday, likely cannot complete in time. So what we did, we wrote into CPF board to tell them, I know we are approaching 55, our RA will be open. Can you all not open the RA until I buy my property first? That means don't lock up the OA money lah. So what CPF did, they said, okay, because you need to go and buy a house, we will not open your RA yet. We will not lock in your OA yet. So after he bought, then after that, then his retirement account got open. So for those sellers that are before 55, you write in generally, normally will go through. Above 55, I've seen cases whereby the RA account is open, but they need to go and buy a house because of certain reasons. I've seen cases that it has gone through as well. But of course, to be safer, as long as they're before 55, you write in generally, CPF will not lock it up lah. So this one, please take note. Okay, we'll go straight into the examples. For calculation purpose for HDB, what I need to take note is today's legal fees all 3,500. HDB submission fees are $80. Commission selling 2%, buying 1%. Okay, when you purchase, what's important to know? Same thing, 3,005 for legal fees, HDB submission $80. One other thing, valuation report $120. Okay, stamp duty 3% minus 5,004 if it's above 360,000. If it's below, then of course please use the formula. Okay, HDB legal fees, why is it a range? Because HDB legal fees depends on how much you purchase the property for, then HDB will charge you a certain amount. So this one, to find out the exact amount, if you're using a HDB law firm, lawyer, basically you log into HDB, you just type HDB legal fees. Then the first link or second link will come out. You just click on it. Then from there, you input how much is your purchase price. Then from there, they will give you the exact legal fees. So basically, it's your legal fees inquiry facility from HDB. Okay, we go straight into your first scenario. So these are the assumptions for all the scenarios today. Mr. Tan, 35 years old, 4K monthly. Mrs. Tan, 35 years old, 3K monthly. MSR, TDS are all cleared. MSR 2001 max. No car loan, no credit issue. All good to go. Max tenure, 25 or 30 years, depending on which loan they take. HDB loan will use this percentage. Bank loan will use this percentage. HDB loan generally is the same, 2.6%. How 2.6% is counted is basically your CPF board rate, 2.5% plus 0.1%. So by right, so a lot of people will say, hey, HDB loan is very fixed. Hey, is not exactly wrong, but it's also not exactly correct. By right, HDB loan is also a floating rate, but it's floating rate dependent on your CPF board rate. So this is your CPF board rate. By right, CPF board rate every time they will review the CPF board rate, but generally over the last decades, it's all at 2.5%. So in a sense, if the CPF board rate one day goes up or goes down, your HDB loan also will change. But of course, the likeliness of that happening is not very high. Bank loan, of course, will fluctuate because it's dependent on the market as well. Okay, first thing first. First example, I'll do together with you all. Then from there, second example, I need you all to come and practice. Okay. First example, seller wants to sell a HDB 4-room and buy a 3-room fully paid off. Okay. Existing HDB loan 180,000. They bought 280,000 5 years ago. CPF refund to seller 180,000. CPF refund to seller 280,000 as well. Existing OA for seller 1 10,000. Existing OA for seller 2 20,000. Current valuation 500,000. For today's calculation purpose, we will not be using COV element. However, in today's market, COV has actually come back quite a bit. Places like Punggol, Sengkang, I've seen cases whereby it's about 5 to 5, can be as little as maybe 5,000 all the way to maybe about 30, 40,000 also have. So today's HDB market, COV has actually come back. Okay, first thing first, we need to calculate how much is your cash proceeds. Second, then we will go and calculate in terms of your financial planning if you want to purchase a property at 300,000. Okay, cash proceeds. Since this example, I'll go through with your cash proceeds will be expected sale price 500,000, less of outstanding loan 180, less of CPF refund 80, less of legal fees 3,005, less of our commission 2% plus GST. Okay, so your cash proceeds 145,800. Okay, so this is how I always will draw. How I always will calculate for my clients. Basically, last time I know iPad, so last time I always will use pen and paper. Today, I know you all have your PA app with your calculation, but today what I want you all to do, I want you all to understand how to calculate for your clients also. Because this is very important. because certain clients are all these kind of like valuation report lah, HDB admin, all to this like $50, $100 to them is very important. So I have clients that wow, really they have enough, then they buy one. So why I need you all to know how to calculate in detail all this, because your clients also will want to know. Certain clients will need to know exactly how much they need. In terms of their CPF, I had one client that until before completion, then they got enough CPF. So these are the things that you need to take note of. Okay. So for today's calculation purpose, Jensen's asking, please show the cash proceed. Oh, this one is not printed for you all, is it? Okay, take a screenshot. You not use your camera to take. Okay. Okay. So what I will need you to, so for this first example, I will go through with you. Okay. So I will draw like this. So this is normally what I will draw if I'm using pen and paper. Okay. What I need you to take note, purchase price is how much? $300,000. Okay. So on the right side, I will always draw HDB loan or bank loan. If it's a HDB loan, maximum 90% loan, minimum 10% down payment. Left side, CPF. So all these payments, I can use CPF to pay. Stamp duty, ABSD, mortgage stamp duty. Mortgage duty, basically, if you are taking a loan, HDB loan, bank loan, you have to pay this mortgage duty one. Mortgage duty is $500. Okay. Legal fees 3,500, HPS 1,500. Okay. If you're not taking any loans, then your mortgage duty don't need to pay. In terms of HPS, what exactly is HPS? Does anyone know? Those that have HDBs, you should know what HPS is. So HPS is a home protection scheme. Home protection scheme says that if anything happens to one party, the loan will be fully paid. So it's almost like an insurance kind of thing lah. Okay. Then your DP will be the down payment if you have any down payments here lah. Okay. Cash. SLA will be $150. Valuation report $120. HDB admin fee $80. Cash top up. What is cash top up? So cash top up can be, for example, bank loan got 5% cash down payment. Later in another example, we'll use that. That can be your cash top up. Cash top up can also come in the form of your option money. So how much is the option money? For today's calculation purpose and today's timeline planning, option money will use 1,000 plus 4,000. Okay, so option money total is 5K. So cash top up can come in the form of either this one or your 5,000 deposit. Then agency fee, very important. How much is the agency fee for purchase? How much is agency fee for purchase? 1% plus GST. Okay. Okay. Someone's asking mortgage duty. Mortgage duty is a calculation, but typically most loans will hit this 500. There's a limit of $500. Most loans will hit that limit of $500,000 unless the loan is extremely, extremely low. So for calculation purpose, we'll always just use $500 for mortgage duty. If HDB is fully paid, then won't have HPS, correct. So one of the reasons why I'm going through this example, because a fully paid HDB, you don't need to pay HPF because there is no usage of CPF, there is no loan. So just a hint also, mortgage duty, if there's no loan, you don't need to pay anything. Okay. What is SLA? Okay, SLA is an admin fee. So Singapore Land Authority. So this admin fee total, there's I think 2 or 3 payments. Total it will add up to about $147 and some certain cents. So I will just round up to $150. It's 2 or 3 payments. When you add them up, it's basically admin fees. When you add them up, it comes up to about $150. Okay. HPS if got CPF usage but no loan, don't need to pay. Don't need to pay. Okay. So what I need y'all to do, this one I already came up with quite a few of these calculations for you. I need y'all to help me go and calculate how much is your total CPF usage here and how much is your total cash usage here. For HDB loan, since this is a fully paid, this one got no loan. Okay. So I give y'all 3 minutes. You all just need to calculate stamp duty. This one no ABSD, no HPS also. I need to know how much is your down payment. Your total CPF usage here. Then second, I need you all to calculate how much is your cash portion here. Okay, I give you all 3 minutes. Stan is asking, option money of 5,000 can be refunded from CPF, cannot. Whatever option money that you pay cannot be refunded from CPF after that one. Even if you're using full CPF to purchase the property. So option money will always be cash. There is no CPF usage. Okay, when you're done, can you all help me type in the chat group how much is your CPF? How much is your cash? I want to know these 2 things. Okay, can I have the answers? What is the CPF amount and what is the cash amount? CPF 39,100, cash 8,560. The rest? Okay, don't worry. Whatever answers you all put doesn't matter because this is a class. So right or wrong, we'll just go through it together. I'd rather you all be, if you all want to calculate wrongly or what, in this class we calculate wrongly. When you go out and go and calculate for your clients, that one will be more of a headache if you calculate wrongly. So for the next couple of exercises, I need everyone's help to really go and calculate and then put your answers in the chat group. Then from there we can go through together. Okay, the rest eh? Okay, I need some more people to come up with their answers. If not, from here we cannot continue already. Whatever answers that you all have, you just start into the chat group. Any other answers? Okay. So this is the answer. Because okay, so this is the answer. For those of you that want to take a screenshot later, then take the screenshot. Okay, so first thing first, purchase price 300,000. Oh, correct. No loan, so 300,000 fully paid. What I need you to take note is that your stamp duty 4,200. Did everyone get this, or did anyone get a different kind of stamp duty amount? How much is the stamp duty? Okay, in the calculation there are one or two errors, so I need you to let me know. How much is the? Did anyone get a different amount of the stamp duty? $4,000, Did anyone get this amount? 3,600. Did anyone get 3,006? Or is the answer 4,002? Okay. So this one, please take note, because it's less than 360,000, 300,000 only. If you remember, when you use the formula 3% of purchase price minus 5,400, this one is above 360K. If it's less than 360K, then you have to calculate a bit differently. Why? Stamp duty says 180,000, 1%, the first one. Second 180,000, 2%. Anything 360K to 1 mil, 3%. Anything above 1 mil, 4%. So because this one is below 360, first 180,000, 1%, which is 1,008. Second, the remainder is 120,000. So 120,000, 2% is 2,400. Add these two, you get 4,200. Okay? So this one, please remember, because this stamp duty you calculate wrongly means you have to pay for your client. Okay. Recently I heard a case. This client, this agent calculated wrongly for the client. Then the agent had to pay, I think, more than $10,000. Because the agent forgot to calculate, I think, the ABSD. So the client actually had to pay that 10,000 plus worth of ABSD, but wasn't calculated. So the agent had to cough out that money. The com not even enough to cover one. Okay, so please take note. Mortgage duty don't have. Legal fees 3,005. HPS don't have. Down payment also don't have because fully paid. So total CPF 7,007. SLA 150, valuation report 120, HDB admin 80, cash top up $0. Is this correct? Okay, I already gave the hint just now because somebody asked. Why no HPS? Because no loan. So don't need HPS, Home Protection Scheme. Nothing to protect against. No loan already, ma. Okay. Cash top up here by right should be $5,000. Because 1,000 option money, 4,000 option exercise money. Agency fee $3,210. Total is 3,560 plus 5K. Okay, if you want to take the picture, you can take the picture now. If not, just go and write yourself plus 5K here. Okay. Now is the second part. When you purchase, how much are you left with? Because the client always will want to know, if I today I go and buy this house, am I left with money or not? So total cash and total CPF required basically is 7,007 plus 3,005 plus another 5,000. Okay. Okay. So what I want you to take note is that basically your total cash remaining will still be the same. Basically, it's how much total cash you have plus how much CPF you have. So 80,000 CPF refund plus your 10,000, 20,000 is a CPF in their OA accounts plus the cash proceeds. This is the total amount of cash plus CPF the owner has, less of your fully paid this amount. Less of this amount. This 5,000 will belong to here. It'll be inclusive here. So the remaining cash net will be $24,540. Okay. Okay. More important, I want you to go and do the second example. Same assumptions. Now the seller wants to sell a 3-room flat, buy a 4-room flat to cash out and upgrade. That means he's using a bank loan. Okay. Existing HDB loan, this amount, how much he bought, CPF refund, slightly different from just now. Current valuation, you sell at 300,000, you go and buy a 480,000 property. Existing OA, no money inside. Okay. Cash proceeds, very straightforward. This one I'll go through with you all. 300,000 less of 100,000 outstanding loan, less of 70,000 CPF refund, seller 1, seller 2, 80,000, less of legal fees, less of commission. Then you get your cash proceeds, $40,080. Okay, so same thing here, except this one, the bank loan is 75% loan maximum, 20% CPF, 5% cash. Okay, I need you all to fill in the blanks. I need these two answers, your total CPF and your total cash. Okay, this one I give you 5 minutes to answer. Now it's 11:09, 11:14. We'll go through the answers. For those that calculate already, I need you all to type in the chat group how much is the CPF total, how much is the cash total. Okay? Sorry, why it's too fast? Two pages. This one? What is the expected sale price? 300,000 huh? Sell 300,000 at value. This is the answer, man. Oh, the notes put 500. Change to 300. This is the correct answer. Maybe I put that in on purpose. Okay, so I'll need you all to do up these two things. Got another couple of minutes more. Okay, those that have the answers, can you all type into the chat box? So I need you all to calculate your stamp duty, mortgage, stamp duty, legal fees, HPS, down payment. Kim Tian, okay. Ken, after this, I go through the remaining cash calculations again. I need you all to do up this calculation first. Okay, guys, I need your help. I really need your help. Can you all turn on your camera? So at least I know you're doing the example. Okay, those camera that is not on one, later I'll get you all to come and share. Okay. Those that have the answers, can you all type into the chat group what is the CPF payments and what is your cash payments? Kat is asking, HPS 1,005 is a one-time payment. Yes. HPS is a home protection scheme, so it's a one-time. Sorry, it's not one-time payment. It's a yearly premium based on their age and based on the outstanding loan. So it's really like insurance like that lah. So typically it shouldn't hit 1,005. Normally, most of my clients is below 1,000 but 1,005 will be the upper limit.
Linden, Justine here. With the HPS, is it both parties paying 1,000? That means each party paying 750, is it? Because you said 1,005, right? So it's based on per loan, but since this is a couple, is it 750 from each party?
Normally 1,005 will cover for both. Normally.
Okay. But when the real case is each party pays their own, right?
Depend on the age, correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, let me go through the previous example. Some of you are asking this part, right? So the total cash you use, is here, 7,007 plus 3,005 plus 5,000. So total cash and CPF required for these payments, which is not part of the 300,000. Okay, so what you need, how to calculate remaining cash, basically is how much total cash and CPF you have, less of how much you have to pay. That means 300,000 less of all your fees, which is this amount. So from there, you go and calculate. 80,000 is how much CPF refund, right? 80. 1020 is how much CPF they have in their accounts. 145,000 is your cash proceeds. This part follow me? 80, 10, 20, 145, 800. When they sell, they got this amount of CPF plus cash. Now you less off 300,000 they are fully paid. So less off 300,000, then you less off all the fees that they need to pay, 11,260. The remaining 24,540 is how much remaining cash they have left. Can? Is that a bit clearer? Can? Okay. So we go back to this example. Jane's asking, explain what depend on age for HPS. It depends on their age. The older they are, it's like insurance. The older you are, the more expensive it is. The younger you are, the cheaper it is. So this one, only when you go and do then HPS, then CPF board will tell you how much is the HPS. Okay. Can? The answers will be 110,500 is your CPF, cash 29,486. Okay, can we go through the answers now? These answers, so you can take a screenshot. If not, you can quickly copy this down. Purchase price 480,000. Bank loan up to 75%, 360,000. CPF 20%, cash 5% minimum. Okay, so here now your CPF payments. First thing first, stamp duty 9,000. Everyone got that, yeah? Mortgage duty, because you're taking a bank loan, $500. Legal fees 3,500. HPS 1,500. Your down payment is your 20% here, 96,000. Total CPF payments $110,500. Okay. Okay. Then next one, cash. SLA, valuation report, HDB admin, 5% cash here. Okay, this 5% cash, 24,000, because it's higher than 5,000, right? So your down payment, 1,000 plus 4,000, can be part of this 24,000. So you don't need to add in another $5,000. Okay, so I repeat, this 5% cash, because 24,000 is higher than 5,000. Your 1 plus 4,000 will automatically be part of this 24,000. Okay, and your agency fee 1% plus GST $5,136. Total $29,486. Okay. So for me, my memory is not very good one. So last time, every time I have to go and memorize this, I will show this to my clients in terms when I serve HDB buyers. I'll do the financial calculation for them. So this part, I always forget one, this CPF part. So how I remember, stamp duty S, right? Mortgage duty M, legal fees L, HPS H. So how I remember, small, medium, large, and huge. My memory very bad one. So this is how I remember. Small, medium, large, and huge. Then plus your down payment, of course. Okay. For cash wise, SVHA, I don't know how to, that one, I don't know how to come up with the acronym lah. Okay. But this is how I remember. Small, medium, large, huge. So your cash component will be 29,000 plus lah. Okay. So I was asking CPF required portion, why we don't need to include 10% minus 5,000 option fee. I don't really understand that question. Maybe later you can ask it, can elaborate on that. Patricia, what is mortgage stamp duty? Mortgage stamp duty is your mortgage duty. Mortgage duty if you're taking a loan. So maximum $500. Jane's asking older maximum. Jane, for HPS, just calculate max 1,005. Agency fee for purchase is 1%. For selling is 2%. SLA is basically your admin fees. It's 2 or 3 admin fees that add up to about $150 that you need to pay. Okay, Siqing, maybe later after the training, then we go back to that question for the example. Okay, anyone has any questions on this current calculation that we're going through? If you don't have, then I'll go to the next slide already. Okay. So same thing, what you need to calculate for your clients is the remaining CPF and remaining cash. So purchase price, sorry, this one's supposed to be 480,000. Remaining cash, basically, remaining CPF, it basically is your 70,000 plus 80,000, less off all these CPF payments, 110,000. So remaining is $39,500. Remaining cash, your cash proceeds $40,000, $80, less off your cash component, 29,486. Remaining cash is 10,594. Okay, this one quite easy to calculate lah. This one. Okay, last one. Last example I'll be going through in terms of calculation. This one is 480. I wrote here already. Okay, last example. Now seller wants to sell 3-room flat. They want to buy the 4-room flat. They want to cash out and upgrade. Existing HDB loan, this amount, bought this amount, refund this amount, current valuation 300,000. So they sell 300,000. They want to go and buy another property, 480,000. It's very similar to the previous scenario, correct? Now the difference is they are taking a HDB loan. So you realize first HDB loan, second HDB loan. That means what you want to take note, second HDB loan. What does a second HDB loan actually mean? So this one, when you hear your client, hey, I want to buy second house with second HDB loan, something needs to, you need to be very aware already. Second HDB loan states that half cash proceeds need to put into your second house. Why? The rationale of it is because if HDB's rationale is that if you're taking a second HDB loan from us, half of your cash proceeds needs to go into your second house so that you reduce your loan to as low as possible. Basically, HDB stance is that they want Singaporeans to take as little loan as possible to be as prudent as possible. That is their stance. So if you want to cash out as much cash as possible, take a bank loan. If you just want to buy it using a second HDB loan, half cash proceeds will have you have to go and put into your next house. Okay, so this is how the calculations will look like. Expected sale price 300,000, less of outstanding loan 100,000, CPF refund 70 and 80,000, cash proceeds 50,000. Okay, so this is actually your cash proceeds that HDB will look at. If your cash proceeds are 50,000, half of it go into a new house, which means remaining is only $25,000, is how much the seller will get back. From there, you go and less off legal fees 3,500, less off commission 6,400. Your net cash proceeds is $15,080. Okay, because this part the other half 25K goes into the next HDB. Okay. So this part I will need you all to go and come and fill up what are your payments here, what are your cash CPF payments here, what are your cash payments here. Then how much is your HDB loan, how much is your down payment. Okay, this 90% loan doesn't mean they're taking 90% loan. This is just a maximum amount of loan they can take. Okay, this one I give you about 5 minutes to do. Purchase price is here. They buy at 480,000. Okay, so I repeat the scenario. Today you sell your house at 300,000, then you go and buy a house at 480,000. So this cash proceeds is for selling. That's why I use 300,000. This one is for buying. So you'll use 480,000. So today what we are actually planning is we are planning for our clients, if they sell their flat, they want to buy another flat. How much cash will they have after that? And is it even possible? So why is this so important? Because before you even embark on planning for your clients, hey, you should do this or that. You also have to go and come up with the financial calculation. Is it even possible? Today, if they from one 3-room flat, they go and sell, they don't get back much cash. Then they want to go and buy one EM, then a COV 80,000. Can they even afford this? So these are the kind of calculations that you need to show your clients. If you want to go through this move, is it possible? If you want to go through this move, maybe it's not so possible. Maybe we adjust the price. Then from there, you can discuss with them. Then from there, you can tweak the calculations also. Okay, another 2 more minutes. SLA payment is made to HDB. HDB will collect the payments. Okay. Can I get some of your help? Those that are doing, can you help me type into the chat box? What is your total CPF? What is your total cash? HPS 1,005 is half if they're the same age, no? But anyway, that one is the upper limit. Doesn't mean that it will be that amount. With different age, 1,005 is still good enough. It's just that it might not be half-half. It'll be determined by CPF board. How much, depending on their age, they need to pay. So it's like your insurance like that. Yeah, one more thing. HPS can only buy 50. What the one I'm not too sure. Henry's asking, can HPS be bought only 50%? That I'm not too sure. Does anyone know? This one I'm really not too sure. But what I need you all to take note. HPS is very important. I had this client. He was a very young, quite young, 30, mid-30s, I think. Then he got 3 kids, all very young. The youngest is a toddler. The wife also 30 plus. Then they moved into their 3-room flat for about, I think got 6 years. So they got 3 kids. Then the wife suddenly passed away because of some illness. Very, very young, she passed away. Then the thing about it is that he went into this depression state that he couldn't leave the house to go to work. Then he had to take care of 3 kids some more. One is a toddler. So really he used up all the savings. Then after that, they call me in to go and calculate for them if they sell, because not enough savings. So if they sell the house, how much will they get back? I calculated for them. If they sell, they won't get back much also. So I asked them, actually, what you want to sell? Then they explained to me the situation. Then I said, if your wife passed on with like few months ago, then the HPS will kick in, So HPS kick in by right, the whole house will be fully paid. Then he don't even need to worry about the house because he had the issue of paying the monthly installment. The thing about it is that they let the HPS lapse, so there wasn't enough CPF in the wife CPF that time. So the HPS actually lapse, cannot deduct it's a yearly deduction. So when they couldn't deduct, HPS lapse is like your insurance plan lapse off, so no more. Just nice lapse already, right? Then she passed on. So really the house, the outstanding loan, everything is still there. HPS cannot take effect. So for those clients that especially those a bit more tight the finances, please go and remind them HPS is very, very, very important. While I see that case, I also don't know how to help them. Because he cannot work, then he still need to take care of the kids. Then the monthly mortgage also he cannot afford. So for this kind of case, please go and especially for those of you that have clients that is those a bit more tight the finances, please remind them they have to take the HPS. They need to go and pay one because no one will know what will happen. I see them also very shaky for them. So please remind your clients, HPS must pay one. Okay. Okay. Answers CPF 62,500, cash 10,486. Okay, let's look at the answers. Stamp duty, bank loan on the right side, 90% loan, max 10% CPF. Sorry, wait. This one's supposed to be HDB loan. Okay, stamp duty 9,000, mortgage duty 500, legal fees, HPS 10% down payment. Okay, 62. So more or less, most of you all have got this answer. SLA, valuation report, HDB admin, cash top up 5,000, 1,000 plus 4,000 here. Agency fee 10,486. Okay, most of you all have got the answer. Stan, your cash portion is 30,486. You want to share with us how you got the 30, or is it just press calculator wrongly?
I thought you said you want 25,000 back, right? So 25,000, so that my cash top up is 25,000 instead of 5.
Okay. For this calculation, the 25,000 we'll calculate later. Okay, later when I show you the next page, then I think you'll understand better. Can how to get stamp duty based on 480,000? 3% times 480,000. This total less of 5,400. Okay, then also in the PA app, we have the stamp duty calculator also lah. Okay. Okay, so for this
Linden, the CPF portion, shouldn't it less 5,000 cash which we paid? Because when you buy HDB, you have got your option fee and your option money, the 1 plus 4K. Shouldn't we minus it from your total CPF?
No, never mind. Later we will count in the.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Page. Okay, so your CPF your CPF remaining will be 70 plus 80,000, less of your CPF payments, this amount, 87,000. Your remaining cash will be your net cash proceeds, less of your cash payments, $4,594. Okay, so as of now, for CPF ruling is, can we keep, if you want to buy a second HDB, can we keep a certain amount of CPF? Or if you are taking a HDB loan, can we keep a certain amount of CPF inside or not? 20K per person. Okay, so please take note, as of now, if you are taking a HDB loan, by right HDB loan will wipe out your CPF. But now you can actually save 20K for each person. But today's calculation, we will not use this 20,000. So please take note, if your client say they want to keep that 20,000, just go and calculate for them, put aside 20,000. For today's calculation, we will not be using that. Okay, so basically your remaining loan is your max loan minus remaining CPF. So we will wipe out the CPF, wipe out half the cash proceeds. 432, less of here, less of here. So the remaining loan is 319,500. So how HDB will calculate, basically they will either wipe out or if not keep a minimum of 20,000 in each person's CPF, then they will wipe out half the cash proceeds. then that is your maximum loan that you can take. So this is the part that is more important. The remaining cash and CPF, that one, looking from the previous example, is quite easy to calculate. This remaining loan is the more important one, what I need you all to take note. Okay, so you realize previous example and this example, exactly the same figures, but one is using bank loan, one is using HDB loan. So you will encounter quite a number of clients that say, hey, I want to change my HDB to another HDB, I want to get maybe a bigger house, I want to downgrade. So in different scenarios, you have to calculate for them both, because you realize both of these scenarios, their remaining CPF and their remaining cash are totally different. So depending on which scenario they fall under and what is their end goal, do they want to have more cash? If they want to have more cash, which loan should they take? Typically, a lot of clients will say, hey, I take HDB loan, very safe, 2.6%. But today, if they want more cash, which kind of loan should they take? Bank loan or HDB loan? At the end of the day, when they want to sell and buy, if they want more cash, should they take a bank loan or a HDB loan? Bank loan, correct. So if, let's say, to them doesn't make too much of a difference, they just want to take a HDB loan, then you plan for them, take a HDB loan. Okay, so I cannot possibly go through every single scenario with you. So these are just general scenarios that are good enough for you to go and calculate for your clients as well. So of course, before you go and meet your clients, basically when you have their figures, generally if you want to double check your calculations, you can always send it to me. If not, send to your managers to double check for you before you finalize the figures with your clients. So this one is very important. The figures when you go and calculate for clients need to be correct. Okay. So this one I overrun a bit for the first segment. Basically, what HDB says is that if it's 50,000, your cash proceeds are 25,000 you can keep, 25,000 into your new house. If your cash proceeds is 48,000, you can still keep 25,000. 23,000 go into your new house. So minimum you can keep is up to 25,000 lah, if it's at 25,000. Okay. So this one, those that just passed the RES exams, this one will be very, very fresh in your head. For those that are experienced agents, this one, just please go and take note, because this one, some of our agents throw back already. Okay. Now next step is if you want to sell your HDB, go into a private property. That means sell HDB, go private property. Okay. Now, what I need you all to take note, is that if you sell HDB, you go and buy a private property. Your client, if you want to go and buy first, your client needs to have either 8 or 9% for private property. If they do not have this 8 to 9% cash of the private property, then they need to sell, rent, then buy. Okay. Later on in the timeline calculation, I will go through all this. So this one don't need to pay too much attention here. Okay, the 50,000, the table later I will show you all again during the break. Okay, now next scenario, sell HDB, they want to buy a BTO. Typically for a BTO, the clients will have met the HDB officer already. The HDB officer normally will give them this financial calculation page on paper one. They will print out for them, then they will write for them if need to. But basically they'll have one printout of the financial calculation for the BTO. So for BTOs, typically what I will just suggest is that your job will come in normally only at the selling. So by the time most of them will have their BTO already, once they have their BTO, the calculation, then you just need to calculate if they sell and all that, is it enough or not? Then from there you liaise with them. You liaise for them the selling. Okay, for sell HDB, go to BTO, quite straightforward. Basically, as long as they got enough to purchase the BTO, then they will go ahead. I have cases whereby they bought the BTO without calculation, they bought the BTO at that time. Then their HDB at that time was quite high. Then they go and apply for BTO. 2-3 years down the road, their HDB price dropped. Their BTO, they realized cannot afford. So what we did was, I calculate for them, if they sell today's price, how much do they get back to buy the BTO? Then they realized not enough. So they actually gave up the BTO. So in this kind of scenarios, it's very important to know exactly how to calculate the selling of the HDB flat. So this one quite straightforward lah. Okay, then next part will be the timeline planning. Timeline planning, I'll go through a bit about the private property. If you want to upgrade to private, if you want to upgrade to new launch, as well as what I explained just now. This one. Why do you need 8 or 9% cash first? Later, I'll explain to you all in the timeline. Okay, so we overrun a bit. Now the time is 11:47. I give you all 5 minutes. 11:52. I give you all a break. Please come back on time. The timeline I will start on time, and the first 10-15 minutes of the timeline planning is the most important. If you miss that, your second part of the time, your other scenarios of the timeline planning, you'll be very, very blurred. So please come back in 5 minutes. For those that want to take a picture of this one, you all can take a picture of this. Then if you need to take a picture of any other things, you just let me know. Then I'll go to that slide. If not, 4 more minutes for your break, then please come back. Then if you got any questions, just ask me. Can ask me now also. If not, at the end of the training also can. Kelvin Neo, you're asking what about resale levy? For BTO, there'll be the resale levy also lah. So that one just have to take note lah during your calculation for is it enough or not? When they sell, is it enough? Normally, what the clients will want to know is that when they sell at this certain price, is it enough to pay the resale levy, to pay if they're going to fully pay, or is it enough for their down payment? Any benefits of taking HDB loan over bank loan? HDB loan, in a sense, is more stagnant. The rates are more stagnant. That means last few decades, 2.6%, it's always been 2.6%. Bank loans fluctuate, but the last decade, bank loans were always lower than. Yes, Wei Zhen, you want to ask a question?
Sorry, can you explain the sales proceed seller keep to put into valuation? I don't understand a bit. Sorry.
Which part?
Like cash proceed 25, seller keep 25 0. Then below is like it's not like standard or divided by 2. What's minimum Q?
No. Okay, so this cash proceeds this cash proceeds basically says that HDB says that half your cash proceeds will go into your next house, unless it's a certain amount. So if it's above 50,000, then it'll be split half. If it's below 50,000, minimum 25,000 you can keep. If it's above 25,000, if it's less than 25,000, all you keep. So this one basically is what is that HDB phrasing lah, but the phrasing sometimes a bit too complicated, so I actually show you all in this table form.
Then 45.
This is HDB's regulation for half cash proceeds.
Because sales proceed 48K is below 50K, then seller keep 25, put in the new house 23.
Yes.
Is this a table form or no?
Sorry?
Is this a
They don't, HDB doesn't give a table form, they only give the phrasing one. You type HDB cash proceeds, it will come up. Judy asking, how much does seller keep? 15K lor. If it's 15K cash proceeds, the seller will keep 15K.
You mean the sales proceed calculator HDB?
No, half. Second HDB loan, half cash proceeds. So what HDB says is that half of the cash proceeds needs to go into a new house. Basically, if buyers can keep the greater of 25,000 or 50% of the cash proceeds.
Can you screen share? Sorry. I Google too many things appeared. Not sure which one.
This one, at the end of the training, I give you all the link because I'm opening on my phone, not my iPad. It's in this link. Here. Okay, is everyone back? Okay, if everyone is back, can I help? Can I get everyone to type in the chat group back? Okay, this is very important because the second part of today's training will be the timeline planning. These first 5-10 minutes are the most important. Everyone is back already? Okay. Come. Now that everyone is back, I know some of y'all never actually left your seat. So I need y'all to come and help me. Everyone need to turn on camera now. Karine, Andy, Elaine, Jolene, Hector, Elson, Karen, Serene, Bessie, Peter, Elwin, Kay, Matthew, Joe, Angela, Chanel. All never turn on camera leh. Okay, later you all must go and buy camera. Okay, what I want you all to do now is stand up from your chair. Everyone all stand up from the chair. Like me, all stand up from the chair. Then I want you all to do a bit of stretching. Stretch. Next part, you cannot fall asleep, man. Do a bit more stretching. Okay, Okay, so next part will be the timeline planning. Timeline planning will be slightly different. I will not be going through, I'll be going through like this. So timeline planning, because every single client's timeline planning will be slightly different. I will draw a personalized timeline for them on. So what I need you all to do is that your pages are printed on the right side, right? Then on the left side is all blank. Please go and draw your timelines on the left side. So this is exactly what I will draw with my clients. For those that want to know, this is the app called Notability. Here. Notability is the second last app on my iPad. So this is the one that I will use to draw for my clients. Okay. So Notability, basically you can just draw as many pages as you want. You just continue and continue. So for today's calculation, today's training, what I need you all to go and draw are these black lines. Okay. So everyone go and start to draw your black lines. Long line is the month. Then 3 lines is your 1, 2, 3, then another long line. So basically this 4 weeks, then 1 month. 4 weeks, then 1 month. 4 weeks, then 1 month. Okay. So as of now, we are in July. So July, August, September, October, November, December, Jan. Okay. I need everyone to draw this. If you have iPad, draw your iPad. If you have, if not, just draw on your book at the side. Okay? Can let me know when you are done. The app is called Notability. I type it out in the chat group. On iPad. I don't draw timeline on the phone because phone very small. Okay, everyone draw their timeline ready? You draw ready, can type okay in the chat group so I know, then I will start. So this second part, the timeline planning, is a lot of practice. So same thing, I cannot go through every scenario. I'll go through your more common scenarios that you will use. And then from there, you can go and play around with the permutations. Okay, the rest, okay ready? Can I start? Can Okay. So I will start off with selling first. Okay. So this is exactly what I will share when I talk to my sellers. So Mr. Seller, I will go through your selling timeline. So for example, tonight I got a presentation. So today is the 30th of July, almost end of the month already. So around here. So this is when I go and meet them. I talk to them, I go and calculate for them, I plan for them. Hey, maybe you can consider selling, you can consider buying, that kind of thing. Then I will tell them, okay, first thing first, in terms of your selling timeline, this is how it will look like. Today is 30th of July. Today is the time where we start to sell. So in order to sell the HDB, what's the very first thing you need to do? What's the very first thing you need to do? Intend to sell. So I'll get them to log in using their SingPass, go and do the intend to sell. From intend to sell, when is the first day that you can officially sell your property? 7 days after. So tell them, here is when we start our marketing and selling. Okay, by right, before that also you can start to market already. Okay, so typically in today's market, like for those of you that have listings already, how long do y'all take to sell a HDB listing? Maybe y'all can type in the chat group. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year? Or recent cases that you have, recent units that you have sold, how long do y'all take to sell? 3 weeks. Okay, any more? 1 day to forever. Now less than 1 month, about 1 month. Okay, Matthew, you're not wrong, 1 day to forever, but try not to have the forever in your mind. Now must throw away. Today's market, today's market, generally, if you look at the answers, a lot of them are actually selling within about a month. Because today's HDB market is actually very hot. You take a listing, typically you sell within 1-2 months, very, very fast. But if you're talking about maybe 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, it can take up to about 6 months to sell. Today's market, very, very, very different. You can sell very fast. So let's just say maybe we take 1.5 months to sell, for example. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We take 6 weeks to sell this house. When we sell this house, Mr. Seller, the buyer will give us $1,000 check in exchange for the option to purchase. Okay. With this $1,000 check and we accept their price, we give them this option to purchase. They use this option to purchase within the next 3 weeks to go and do up their valuation report, their bank loan, etc. So they will go and do up. In terms of valuation report, only with a valid OTP, then they can go and apply for valuation report. Okay. If let's say valuation report comes out, they're okay with it, they're okay with the valuation, their loan is good to go. They'll give us another $4,000 check and they will exercise this OTP. So, Mr. Seller, what I need to let you know is that at this time, when we give them this OTP and they give us the $1,000 check, we are legally bounded to sell to them at this price. We cannot not sell to them. But for them, they are not legally bounded to buy this unit until they exercise. Only after they exercise and they give us this $4,000 check, they return to us the exercise option to purchase. Then they are legally bounded to this contract. They have to buy from us. We need to sell to them. If, for example, they don't give us this $4,000 check, basically they don't want to buy this house from us. Then we go and remarket and we sell to somebody else. Okay. Then from there, let's say we do a 1 month submission. To HDB. What happens is that this submission basically is on your page 1 of the OTP. In the HDB OTP, you need to fill out pages 1, 2, 4, and 8. Page 1 will have the seller's details, address, selling price, option, fee, buyer's details also. Page 2 will have option exercise fee. Just to repeat, option fee can be $1 all the way to $1,000, any amount. In today's calculation, we'll just put $1,000, 1K. Option exercise fee will be done on page 2. Page 2, that's the only thing that you need to fill up. 4,000 is the max. It can be anywhere $1 to $4,000. All also can. Page 4 is how many days submission you put inside. Okay, so for here, we will put maybe 30 days submission, then we submit within 1 month. Now, is there a limit to the amount of days of submission? How many can I, because some people can put 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Some people put 180 days. Can it be done or not? Okay, not to say that cannot be done, but during your submission, a few things must be valid. First thing, during submission, valuation must be valid. Second thing, your intent to sell must be valid. Third thing, your intent to buy must be valid. Okay. Valuation report, how many months validity is that? Can someone type in the chat group? Valuation report. Those that just passed the RES exam, you all should know. Valuation report is 3 months. How about valuation report is 3 months validity period? That means to say, your valuation report, when they apply here, it can only be valid up to 3 months. 1, 2, 3. So by right, can you do a 90-day submission? Can, as long as your valuation report is valid. Okay? What other things needs to be valid? Intent to sell and intent to buy needs to be valid. And of course, your HLE or whichever loan that you're doing needs to be valid. Now, your intent to sell, how long is the validity period? $12 months? Or 6 months? 12 months, correct. Intent to sell, validity period, 12 months. Intent to buy? Intent to buy how long? Intent to buy how long is it? 12 months or 6 months? Also 12 months, Okay, so now the question is, what if my intent to sell is going to expire? Then can I still do submission or not? So typically intent to sell, I did one case previously. He did intend to sell very, very long ago. Then after that, he stopped marketing. Then after that, he said he want to sell again. So by right, his intent to sell is still valid. Then I found a buyer, but by the time my submission intent to sell going to expire. So what I did, you normally just write into HDB, tell them, hey, my intent to sell going to expire. They will just tell you to either do another new intent to sell, but if let's say no time or what, certain case, then basically they will just extend for you. So this intent to sell quite straightforward, as long as it's done before. If it's going to expire, very straightforward. Just email HDB, they will tell you what to do. Okay. Now this submission, these few things need to be valid at the time of submission. So let's say we just do for this timeline, we just do a 1 month submission. By right, within 2 weeks, you will get your acknowledgement. Okay, so by right, HDB says within 10 working days, they will give you the acknowledgement. However, now with increased number of cases of HDB transactions, plus I think HDB officers are working half workforce only, half from home, half from office. The acknowledgement now typically takes a bit longer. Anyone got any experience recently? Anyone transact any HDB? How long did the acknowledgement take? How many weeks? Typically, by right, HDB says within 10 working days, which is normally about 2 weeks. Even given by holiday is 2+ weeks only. Yeah, now acknowledgement takes about 4 to 5 weeks. My agent that day did, his was about 5 weeks. My recent one was about 4 weeks. So this one you need to take note. Today's market, it takes about 4 weeks for acknowledgement. If you really want 2 weeks, recently I had one case. My client, I was serving seller, my co-broke agent was serving buyer, HDB upgrader to my condo, my private unit. Then he managed to get his acknowledgement within 2 weeks, but he or the client every few days called the HDB officer to chase. So if you really want the 2 weeks, can be done from what I've seen, just that really need to go and chase the officer. Okay. So for this calculation purpose, we'll still put 2 weeks first, but please take note, it can stretch up to about 4 weeks or so. Okay, then what I need to do from there, your acknowledgement, now you go and count 8 weeks. That is when you have your completion. Completion is when you hand over the keys. Completion is when you get your cash. Within 3 weeks, you will get back your CPF. Okay, typically it's about 10 working days. CPF says within 10 working days, your CPF will go back to your OA account. But the thing about it is that just normally for my calculation, I will add 1 week buffer. So I'll count 3 weeks for the CPF to come in. Okay, Ken? So this is the part where the selling is done. Straightforward. Intend to sell, then you market $1,000. 3 weeks later, $4,000. Submission, that's the time that you can play with. Okay. So what I want you to take note is that this timeline, in a sense, is a bit flexible. But for HDB, only certain parts are more flexible than the rest. Okay. Intend to sell to when we can officially market. Officially sell. That one not flexible, right? 7 days, ma. Marketing to when we actually get a buyer to option, that one is a bit unknown. In a sense, it's not that flexible. Value 1,000 to 4,000, 3 weeks maximum. Also about there only. Now, submission, this part is the part where it's more flexible. If you want to complete very fast, you do a very fast submission. 1 day submission, 7 day submission, 3 day submission. All are not wrong. You can do that. I met some corporate agents who tell me, oh, I want normal submission. Honestly, this word normal submission is very ambiguous because some people normal is 7 days, some people normal is 14 days, some people normal is 30 days. So typically when corporate agent tell me I want normal submission, I ask them, how many days submission? I very kiasu one. So even up to how many days submission, I also will want to discuss with the agent because this is where the hiccups will come in. I want this amount of submission, I want that amount of submission because I want to complete by this date. So what I also will always do is that I will come up with this mutual agreement with buyer, seller, go and sign to say, hey, completion, we want this date. So later I will send in the chat, in this chat group as well, the link for this mutual agreement. At the end of the training, you'll just remind me. So in terms of flexibility, this submission is the part where you can play around with. After submission to completion, it's quite fixed one. So that one you can't play around with. So HDB timeline, the part where you can go and adjust, most of the time is just this submission part. Okay? So in these examples, I also will try to go through the easier examples so that you at least get your foundation correct first. Then from there, if you want to go into the more complicated cases, then we work on them. Okay. All right. So selling part, anyone has any questions? Okay. Okay. If no questions, then we will go through the first example, a contra case. So at the top is the selling, at the bottom is the buying. We are going to do a contra case. Have you all heard contra case is very, very difficult, very complicated, the most complicated transaction in HDB to do? Has anyone heard this before? So in my previous company, doing all the trainings, they also every time tell us contra case is the most difficult. But in terms of timeline planning, contra case is the easiest. Okay, later when I show you why, then you understand. But okay, so just to explain what a contra case is. Contra case means to say that today I'm selling my house. I'm selling to this buyer. I'm buying from another seller also, another HDB. So I'm the contra case. Only one party in this transaction at any one time can do a contra. If I'm doing contra, my buyer cannot do contra. If I'm doing contra, the seller that I'm buying from cannot do contra. Because contra, basically, one HDB officer will settle 3 cases. Who's buying from my unit, and then I'm buying from the other unit. So I'm contra. Only I can contra, the other 2 cannot contra. Okay, first thing. Second, when I do the contra, basically my completion of my selling will fall on the same day as my completion of my buying. That's what the contra case means. Okay. So what I just said, contra of selling will coincide with the contra of buying completion. Selling completion is here, correct? So my buying completion will also fall in here. Okay. So when my buying completion is here, my HDB submission can be roughly 8 weeks before that lah. Agak-agak. Okay. Now, what I want you to take note, it means that my $4,000 check will come in here, and my $1,000 check will go out here. Okay. Contra means that whatever CPF and whatever cash that I'm getting from my selling will contra off to my buying. So I don't need to wait until my CPF come back, then I can go and buy. Basically, HDB will help me settle that. So contra case is very convenient for those that want to sell and buy a HDB if they're taking a HDB loan. So some of you were asking me just now, why do people want to take a second HDB loan? Because if you're taking a HDB loan, you can do a contra. If you're taking a bank loan, you cannot do a contra. So that one, please take note. One other thing that I want you to take note, that means your completion, then you go and count back 8 weeks. Then from there, you go and count when you want to do submission, when you want to purchase your second HDB. Okay. What I want you to take note now, you'll realize that 1,000 for my selling is end of October. For example, end of September. For example, this date is 21st of September. So for my 1K that I'm giving to the other side, typically, maybe I will do 22nd of September at least. Why? Because when I receive the $1,000 check from our buyer, then I go and give $1,000 check to the seller that I want to buy from. So in the event that he don't exercise this, then I don't exercise the other side. So I don't waste that money. I don't waste my own money. You get what I mean? So normally how I'll plan is that this one will be at least 1 day after I receive the $1,000 check. That's what I will advise the clients also. Okay. Okay. Selen is asking, exercise OTP and HDB submission. That one's on page 4. You can fill up in. Basically, HDB OTP only can fill up. You cannot add any additional clauses. HDB OTP exercise to submission is not only 1 to 7 days. Can be 1 day, can be 7 days, can be 14, can be 30, can be 90 days, as long as your valuation report, your loans, your intent to buy, intent to sell are all valid. Okay. So in terms of contra timeline, is it easy to understand? If it's easy, you'll type easy. If it's difficult, you'll type difficult. Okay. So contra timeline, honestly, is very easy to understand. As long as your completion and your other completion, they just finish on the same day. So now the question is, if I'm completing, let's say, first on 1st of Feb, both houses, then how I move from my old house to my new house? Completion afternoon, but I need to give the keys to my buyers the afternoon, then I can collect keys. Then my things how to move over? So this is the part where you need to plan for your clients such that, like what Agnes, like what Catherine said, this is the part you ask for extension. This extension needs to be negotiated when you're negotiating the price already. So when you're negotiating the price, you're negotiating the terms, extension is one of them. You don't come and option already, then after that you ask for extension. That's where a lot of the buyers will go and squeeze the seller one. You want extension now? Can you pay me rental? Lor? So the thing is, normally for this kind of case, before I even option the unit, I will discuss what is the completion date you all want, how many days submission, is there any extension? Extension, is there an amount or not? Or is it free extension? Extension can be $0 per month, can also be $1,000, $2,000 a month. This extension, there's no fixed rule one. So it's about how you negotiate for your client. Okay. So this extension, you can ask maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, depending on the buyer. Are they okay with the timeline or how? Extension, how to document it. HDB has an extension template that you can use. Okay. Okay. Now, this is the contra timeline. Straightforward. Okay, now we come and practice again. We do a selling HDB, then after that, not contra, a more normal transaction. Okay, so I need you to practice again. Draw another timeline. So let's say today we do intend to sell. 1 week later, we start to market. Within, let's say, 1 month, we find a buyer. They give us 1,000 in exchange for the option to purchase. Now, Mr. Seller, the buyers will have another 3 weeks to give us another 4,000, and they will exercise this said option to purchase. These 3 weeks is for them to do up valuation, to do up their loans. If, for example, they don't exercise our option to purchase, we keep the $1,000, then we remarket it again. When we give out this option to purchase, for the next 3 weeks, we cannot sell to any other buyers. So this is my exact script to my seller. After a while, you realize that I will say the same thing because it's the same thing when I talk to sellers. After that, let's say we go for a 1 month submission. Then we will get our acknowledgement in 2 weeks. From there, you go and count 8 weeks. That is when we get our completion. Completion is when we get our cash proceeds and we also give up our keys. Within 3 weeks, we will get back our CPF. Okay. Okay, Henry, you asked about early reno. Don't worry, later we'll cover. Okay, everyone follow me so far? Selling HDB, very straightforward. Timeline is like that. Now, we're going to go through buying HDB. Whether you're going to go through buying HDB using a HDB lawyer. Okay. So, HDB lawyer is a bit more tedious to use. Why do I say that? Because when you use a HDB lawyer, during your submission, submission needs to coincide with when your CPF come back, because during your submission, your CPF needs to be inside already. Okay, which means to say before your submission will be your $4,000, then your $1,000 here lah. But you realize your completion will be very late. Completion March, April, May, at least May or June already. Correct? So even you ask extension, it's still very tight. It's still quite tight. Am I right? Okay, Catherine is asking about CPF, how many days? Later answer you also. Don't worry. So am I right to say that it's very tight? Even you ask for 2-3 months extension, what if you need to reno the house? You need to do touch up 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Somehow now with the workers number of packs restriction, the workers are also restricted. Last time touch up or do minor reno maybe 2 weeks. Now maybe it takes 3 or 4 weeks. So if you're using a HDB lawyer, what you need to take note, very important, submission, your CPF needs to be in already. So for this kind of cases, when you're using HDB lawyer, this is the thing that you need to take note of. So most cases, I will not use a HDB lawyer like that. Okay? Why do I say so? Now, I use a private lawyer. Okay? Private lawyer, what do you need to take note is that your completion just needs to be 3 weeks after your completion of your selling. Okay? Then from there, you go and count completion to acknowledgement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is your acknowledgement. Two weeks before is your submission. From there, you go and count. Your 4K is here. Your 1K is here. Okay. So what the private lawyers always tell you, okay, if you complete here for your selling, your buying just need to be 3 weeks difference. Then they got enough time to complete. So now when you go and ask for extension, is it easier or not? You can ask for 2 months extension, 3 months extension, and still have 1 or 2 months of rental. For example, you go and ask for 2 months of extension up to here. You still got 5 weeks to rental. Because you collect key here, ma. You still got 5 weeks to rental. Okay. So for this kind of cases, normally I will just go and get a private lawyer. Easier to plan. So now you also realize why in the calculations, I will use the upper limit of a private lawyer in all the calculations. Because most of my cases, if let's say they really buy a HDB, I will just plan a private lawyer instead of a HDB lawyer. Pay a bit more. But anyway, now private lawyers are quite competitive. 1,000 plus also you can get already. 1,000, 2,000, 2,000. Yeah, about 2,000 you can get already. So normally for my own planning, I will tell my clients to plan a private lawyer. Any lawyer below 2,000, that one I'm not too sure. Normally I don't really always use the very cheap ones because I'm a bit scared. Last time, my client used a very, very cheap one before. It's a very small company, small law firm. 1 or 2 lawyers only. They charge quite cheap. Then the buyer said they want to use themselves. Then I said, okay, you go and use. Because they say very cheap, their friend recommend. Then that one is they bought a new launch. So new launch, is progressive payment. Every time a certain stage is built finished, then they'll call for the loan, right? The lawyers is the one need to liaise with the developer and the bank to release the bank loan. This law firm halfway closed down. Then when they close down, the developer keep calling for the payment, but the bank never released because the law firm never liaise. So in the end, they realized and all that, then the client had to pay like $10,000 in penalty. So I'm a bit scared to use very small law firm or very, very cheap ones. But that's for me. Okay. Law firm below 2,000, I'm not too sure. That one you can check out. Okay, any questions about this timeline? Okay. So normally I will do this timeline for my clients because to me this is the easiest to plan. Okay, what I want you all to take note now is that today one way to plan this timeline such because you need to plan for your clients such that they always have a roof above their head. Am I right? Today you cannot plan it such that your client sell the house after got nowhere to stay. They'll tell you, like that then I stay at your house cannot be So you always must plan such that they always have a roof above their head. This planning is if you can get an extension. But what if you cannot get an extension? What if the buyer tell you, no, I confirm cannot give you the extension. I'm going to get married already. Then we want to move into this matrimonial house. Then how? I got 3 weeks, no house. And the buyer cannot give extension. How? Anyone got any idea? Yeah. One way is that if let's say today extension cannot, by right extension is recognized by HDB, but you have to understand that the entire HDB extension letter, a lot of the clauses are to protect HDB. Basically, they say this extension is between you, a buyer and seller. If you have any arguments or what, you'll settle yourself. HDB will not be liable for anything. Okay? Now, the thing about it is that another way, what some owners do, which I don't really recommend, is they ask for early move-in. Some early move-in, then at least they still got a house above their heads. Early move-in is not recognized by HDB, so it's a mutual agreement if the buyers and sellers want to embark on this. However, I need to let you know, early move-in is not recognized by HDB, so normally I won't recommend this lah. But I just need you all to know that some buyers, some sellers actually do this, in case they ask you. Okay? Now, what else can we plan? So during this no house period, I also will ask my clients, Mr. Seller, do you have any relatives, any family members that you can stay with in between interim? That means this no house period, can you all stay with family? Can you all stay, maybe go back to your parents' house for a while? Then after that, shift back here. Then at least you can still do a bit of reno also. Here, maybe do 1 month of reno. So that can be another option. Okay. Now, what happens if they tell you, because I also have some clients, they tell me, Linda, I got no place to stay one. My parents' house too small for us. I got 4 kids. How you want me to move 6 of us into their studio unit? Cannot, ma. Family member all cannot also. So another way is that you can do a bridging loan for them. Have you all heard of a bridging loan? Okay, any other questions about here first before I go into bridging loan? Okay, COV later on that we address it. In terms of timeline, any questions before I'm go? If not, I'm going to erase some parts of it. Okay, so I'm going to erase this part. So now the thing about this is that, can we complete before or not? If we complete before, then I got house. I always will have a house to stay in, ma. Just now, if we complete after, that's why we got no house to stay in, correct? So now let's say I want to complete here. Then same thing lah, my acknowledgement, my submission, my 4K, my 1K. Okay, about that. Now, our completion complete here, but our selling completion complete here. There is a 1 month gap. Can this be done? Can. If you are taking a bank loan, then you take a bridging loan. This 1 month gap will be a bridging loan. Okay, the bank will help to bridge the CPF, not the cash. Bank can help to bridge CPF from here. Sorry, the gap should be here. They can help to bridge this CPF to complete first. Cash, they cannot bridge for you. CPF, they can bridge for you. So if you want to complete first, you want to take a bridging loan, you need to calculate properly. Their CPF enough to bridge, then can. If their CPF not enough to bridge, they need to top up cash. They need to have that cash on hand. It cannot be from the cash proceeds. Okay, so that's why I always share with my agents, timeline is very, very, very important, because if you don't plan for them properly, honestly, there is a high chance they will be homeless. And you'll encounter like those DIY buyer, their timeline also, they totally don't, they read online, then they think, oh, like that, then I know everything already. It's not as simple as that. So the thing about it is that you really have to plan for them properly, because most important, you cannot let them have, you must always plan for them such that they have a roof above their head. Bridging loan, no minimum days, I think. Bridging loan fee, that one I have to double check with the banker. I cannot remember, 5 or 6% or something like that per annum. So if you are going to bridge for, let's say, 30 days, then this amount of that you want to bridge, you 30 over 365, then you times how many percent. So it's actually not very expensive one. DIY buyer don't always listen to you. Yes, that is very true. So honestly speaking, normally if let's say I have two offers, one DIY buyer and one buyer with an agent, I normally will push for the one with the agent, because no difference to me, ma. If I'm doing HDB selling, I'm not going to share commission. So I will normally I'll tell the seller, I got two groups. You still have to tell the seller, I got two groups. One is a DIY buyer, but I talk to him, I feel like his timeline, he like not very sure. The other one is with an agent. The agent knows what are the finances, what's the timeline planning for this buyer. I'm more assured with this agent group. Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, what do you think? Then I let him choose which group he wants to choose. So that's what I will do. Okay. So any other questions about this timeline? So a few things you can do are just to recap: ask for extension, find interim housing from family, friends, whoever. Another way is to complete earlier. Then what else you need to take note? HDB lawyer, CPF must be in by submission. If you use a private lawyer, the main difference is that your completion, as long as the CPF is in, they can completion to completion date, 3 weeks difference. Okay. So for those that are newer agents or never really do HDB transactions, I know this is a bit more complicated. That's why most important, I need you all to practice. So just now we all had scenario A, B, scenario 1, 2, and 3, right, in the financial calculation. After this lesson, I'll need you all to go back and practice also. If for scenario 1, what is the timeline? Scenario 2, what is the timeline planning? Scenario 3, what is the timeline planning? Okay? Then from there, you will get a better idea. And one more thing is that for those of you that have HDB, go and plan for yourself such that if today you sell a HDB, when is the earliest your completion can be? When is the earliest your CPF can be? If you want to upgrade to a private property or you want to buy a second private property, when should you actually purchase it? What kind of timeline planning should you plan for yourself? That will be the best practice. If you can plan for yourself, then after that, really go and execute it is the best really. Okay. Is early reno request by buyer a must? No. So early reno like extension is subject to both sides agreeing. Seller agree to buyer with buyer, then from there we can match. If they don't agree, then you have to come to a compromise. So all these things are, if you realize, even before this 1,000 is given, I will want to discuss as much of these options as possible, because along the way, if They suddenly tell me, I want early reno or I want extension. Then buyer, seller don't agree. Then you have the obstacle, you cannot clear, means they don't want to buy, they don't want to sell already. So if you can try to settle all this during the negotiation stage, that's what I normally do. So I will ask them, okay, how, in terms of your timeline, what is it like? Do you need extension? Do you need early move in? Do you need what? Do you need that? These kind of things. So even before I negotiate on the price and all that, or during negotiation on the price, I will nego all these extra terms as well. Okay, Kareem is asking, if early reno, which timeline can we do? Early reno doesn't affect the timeline too much. It's just that because you're using HDB lawyer, private lawyer, bank loan, HDB loan doesn't affect that timeline. It's just whether your unit can early reno or not. But honestly, not everyone will allow you to early reno lah, because there is some risk involved. Okay, to explain a bit further, early reno means that today you, for example, you completing in March, but I want to early reno in Jan. Normally, people will allow early reno only after acknowledgement is done. Okay. Early reno must write in black and white. Yes, there's the HDB early reno form also to fill up. Okay, what you need to take note. Early reno, for example, if the buyer go and do reno on the house, even after acknowledgement, if for some reason the buyer doesn't go to completion day, on completion day they don't show up, they cannot complete Suddenly he, I don't know, lose his job. The entire family lose a job. They don't want to complete this unit anymore. They do reno halfway, they pay the contractor the 10% deposit. Contractor start a bit of works here and there. Maybe they rip out half the living room tiles. The thing about it is that what happens is that if he don't want to complete the unit, he just don't show up to HDB, the unit cannot complete. He don't pay the contractor. Essentially, your seller is left with a house that is a bit damaged. Yes, you can sign the indemnity form, but it's a very big headache to go and claim against them, especially if, for example, their company went bankrupt. How to claim against them? You go small claims, you go and sue them, no money to claim. So there are these kind of repercussions if you are going for early reno. So normally I'm representing seller, I will try my best not to agree to early reno because there is this risk. But of course, everything is up to negotiation. So I've also heard some law firms advise that, hey, you want to early reno, can. Then the lawyer advised the seller to take this certain amount of deposit damage, in case of damages. Maybe they put 5,000 with the seller first, something like that. This can also be done through legal forms But HDB very straightforward, because you don't turn up for HDB and all that. HDB completion. HDB is not going to do anything. They can't force you to do anything, and they don't have the manpower also. So for this kind of cases, for my own sellers, normally I don't really encourage early reno, unless really super, I don't know, some super reason but I never really encountered those before. Okay. Henry is asking, is private contract legal for extension? Yes. Anyway, HDB has their own extension letter also. So private contract, essentially all these are still legal. When you go small claims, can still use, just that it's very troublesome. And sometimes for this kind of amounts, people might not really want to go through the hassle of going through the small claims and everything. So normally I will plan such that they don't have to handle this kind of things. Okay? Okay. Can I answer one more question before I still got the private timeline to go through with you all. Okay. Gilbert is asking if okay. Gilbert asking if doing contra, right? Contra, okay. Contra for the contra party can only be HDB loan. Bank loan cannot contra ma. So HDB loan, of course, fully paid. Either fully paid or HDB loan, then you can do contra. The others don't care. As long as you are the contra party, your one has to be HDB loan or no loan. For the other parties, who you buying from, who you selling, they can take whatever loan, don't take loan, also can. Does that answer your question? Kelvin is asking how private lawyer can bridge CPF to the account. Private lawyer cannot bridge the CPF. They basically have to wait for the CPF to come in, then they can transfer it to the purchase. Private lawyer can do it just before completion. HDB law firm say they don't want to do it, so during submission needs to be inside already. Okay. Okay. One other thing, just now someone asked, CPF by right, just now I told you all calculate 3 weeks, right? CPF 3 weeks for the CPF to come back. You at completion, you can ask the what's that, HDB officer. Miss HDB officer, can you help me write into CPF to expedite my CPF? So typically, once either HDB lawyer or your private lawyer, you can tell them to do that lah. Then they'll write into CPF board. CPF board will try to return the CPF. Normally, it's about within 1 week like that. Like I just completed my GEM a couple months ago. Then asked law firm to write into CPF board to expedite it. I think within 4 days, 3-4 days, I got back my CPF already. So it can be as fast as that. The fastest I've seen is same day. My client, same day of completion, his CPF actually came back. So it really depends. But it's not confirmed that it will go through lah. But most of the time, within about a week, it should go through. But your planning will still have to be at least 2 to 3 weeks. Okay? In case, just need to plan for the buffer lah. Okay. Now, sale of HDB. Very straightforward. We already went through a timeline. Now, we go through buying of private. Resale. Okay. So let's say today you go and see houses, see until maybe mid-September. Your buyer likes a house. Okay. That means this here is viewing. They go and view condo, view lender, view condo, view lender. In the end, they go and buy one condo. Resale. If they like the house, go and nego on the price. Your buyer will need to give 1% check. Remember, just now HDB, they give how much? 1% or $1,000 for the deposit, for the option money. HDB is 1K plus 4K. Okay, very good. Private, 1% in exchange for the option to purchase. within 2 weeks, they'll give another 4%, and they will exercise this OTP. HDB is 3 weeks option period. Private normally is 2 weeks option period. Same thing, during these 2 weeks, go and use this option, go and get a bank loan, go and do up the valuation, etc. With this 4%, okay, 1% will be given to seller. 4% you must take note, is given to law firm. Given to seller's law firm. Normally. Okay. HDB option to purchase. When the buyer want to exercise, they just sign the exercise, agent will witness, or whoever above 21 will witness. Correct? Now, private slightly different. Please take note this one. When the exercise option to purchase, 4% check will be done at a law firm. Our buyer's law firm. They will exercise in front of the lawyer. The lawyer is the one to witness their exercising, not you. Please remember, some of my agents go and exercise the OTP. Some of my agents go and witness their clients exercising the OTP. No, it's at the law firm, the lawyer will do it for them. Please don't do that. You do that, the lawyer will scold you. Okay? So from there, you go and count. 2 weeks later, you will pay your stamp duty. Within 2 weeks. But normally when you exercise, they'll just collect, they will settle the things for your client. Then you go and count about 10 weeks to 12 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks line. It can be a range. Will be your completion. So this will be a 12-week completion. Completion also is handled by the law firm. Okay. So what you want to take note, 1%, 4% completion. For private property, just now I mentioned to you, HDB, nothing can be edited in the OTP, right? Private property, slightly different. Private property, not slightly, very different. Everything can be negotiated. Instead of 1%, can be $1, can be 5%, can be 10%. Instead of 4%, can be $1, can be $5,000, can be 5%, can be 10%, can be 9%. All can be negotiated. This 12 weeks completion, minimum also about 8 weeks if there's a loan. But this 12 weeks can be 50 weeks, can be 100 weeks. Can one. So private property, anything can be negotiated. My last couple of private properties, because I had to give them, I option today, but my SSD is 6 months later. So I only allow the buyer to exercise 6 months later. So instead of taking 1% from them, I took from them 4%. My exercise OTP, I took 1%. Instead of 1 plus 4, I took 4 plus 1. Then instead of 12 weeks, I went for 8-week completion. But my entire thing stretched for about 6 months. Okay, so all this can be negotiated and can be discussed for a private property transaction. So you realize private property transaction, resale, very straightforward. The timeline. Then you all still want to do HDB transaction. HDB not very troublesome. Is it troublesome? Which you all prefer to do? HDB or private? timeline planning. No right, no wrong. Private a bit easier, huh? Okay, the thing about it is that private is definitely easier. It's just that 80% of Singaporeans still stay in HDB. So you still need to know how to do HDB transactions, because at the end of the day, your friends, your relatives, eventually one of them will still have a HDB one. Very rare that an agent only does private property in their entire career. Even if today your friends are all stay private property, their kids also might start with a HDB first. So when you do the transaction for them, their kids still have to do a HDB transaction. So you still need to know also. Okay? Okay. Someone asked HDB also 1K seller. No, HDB 1K, 4K given to seller. Don't need to be witnessed by lawyer, can be witnessed by anyone 21 and above. "12 weeks is from exercise date, not from stamp duty date." Stamp duty for HDB is paid after approval, 2 weeks after approval. Your approval will come in after 2 weeks after your acknowledgement. So it's not during completion, it's before that. Okay. Just now I mentioned to you, if you got 8% or 9%, then you can buy first, right? Okay, why is that so? For resale, what you want to take note also is that your stamp duty needs to be cash. Private resale stamp duty needs to be cash, cannot be CPF. CPF cannot use in Taiwan. Even you got CPF in your OA, cannot. You still need to pay cash first. After your completion, CPF will reimburse you the cash. Then they'll deduct that from the CPF. Okay? So why, if let's say you want to purchase a private resale, why do you need 8 or 9% first? Because 1% down payment plus 4% exercise, so plus 3 or 4% stamp duty. Am I right to say that that is 8 or 9% cash? So if you do not have this 8 or 9% cash first to purchase, then you have to sell your house first. When you sell your house, then you have the 9% cash. Then after that, then you purchase. So in between, you need to have that interim housing, your family, your rental, whatnot. If you want to sell your HDB and at the same time buy a private property, can. But you need to have this. Without this amount of cash, there is no chance one. Okay? Okay. Last timeline that we're going to go through. Sell HDB. That one I will not draw. We'll do, next one is a buy private new launch. Is this what everyone wants to know? Because your private new launch, your commission higher? Okay. So private new launch slightly different from private resale. Okay. Let's say you go and show them new launch. September, mid-September, they want to go and buy. Okay. So you tell them, okay, Mr. Buyer, we saw this new launch you want to buy. You will give 5% deposit. Okay. From there, you will receive the OTP. Okay, but this for private new launch slightly different. Just now resale, you exercise the OTP Private new launch, you don't exercise OTP, you exercise sales and purchase agreement. what happens is that within 2 weeks, you receive S&P. Within 3 weeks, you need to exercise sales and purchase agreement. Okay. Then within the next 2 weeks, you pay stamp duty. Now, the difference between private new launch and resale is the stamp duty. That one later I will explain. From here, you want to go and count your completion. You go and count 8 weeks from this date. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here is when you complete. That means by this date is when you need to pay a remaining 15 plus 5%. Depending if the 5% is the foundation is called for already. So for private new launch, they all work this way. Last time you have things as reissue and all that. Now there's no reissue, so it's very straightforward. It's only this timeline. You need to remember. Okay. Then one other thing is that if you need your S&P to be sent out on the last day, you need to inform your tagger or the developer that your S&P needs to be sent out on the last day. If not, they can send out S&P any day in between. Okay, ABSD and all that will always be paid when you need to pay your stamp duty. IRAS will always call it to get. Basically, any payments to IRAS is the same. Okay, what you want to take note is that here, stamp duty can use CPF. New launch, please remember, new launch stamp duty can use CPF. Resale stamp duty can only use cash. Okay, new launch, the lawyer firm has enough time to draw out the stamp duty, your CPF stamp duty. Resale don't have. Okay, so can everyone type private new launch stamp duty can use CPF? Please type that out in the chat group so at least you will remember. So this is the main difference. Okay. Okay. Now any questions about this new launch timeline? Okay. So now the thing about it is that if you realize private property, in a sense, private property timelines are relatively straightforward and slightly more flexible than HDB timelines. Not to say that you don't go and memorize HDB, because honestly speaking, for most of us, we will still be doing, no matter how many private properties you do, you will still come across HDB sellers, especially if you're serving cold leads. If you're doing campaigns, for myself, I'm doing some asset progression ads as well as campaigns for new launches like Pasir Ris 8, Bartley View and all that. Now upcoming is Water Gardens. So a lot of them own a HDB. So I need to know how to plan such that if they want to sell HDB, what can they do? So last time I used to do a lot of door knocking. Now I move on to more social media ads. Basically, that is paying the marketers money. Then from there, they go and do. Or if not, another way you can do the ads yourself also. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the buyers today own HDB. So you need a majority of them. You need to sell the HDB one in order to buy. So that's about what I have for today. Since you all don't have any questions about this timeline, I have some homework for you all to do. So I got 3 homework for you all to do. One is the 3 scenarios that we all did in the financial calculation. I need you all to after this lesson to go and practice. If can, by today, go and try to draw these 3 timelines. It's very simple one. Best is the next half an hour, or you don't even need half an hour, 15 minutes, you just take to go and draw these 3 timelines to practice. Second thing I need you to practice is if you sell HDB and you want to buy a private resale, that means to complete the top and bottom. If you sell a HDB and you want to buy a private new launch, I need you to go and complete the timeline, top and bottom. That means you put yourself in as the seller. If today you're going to sell this house, then I want to buy a private resale. How can I buy such that maybe I minimize my I do not have to move twice. I move once can already. I don't have any place to stay in between. How can I plan that? Private new launch, no choice. You have to plan interim housing one lah. Unless it's going to complete soon, which you also won't really know lah. Okay, but most important, I need you all to do that. And very, very important, the third one is to go and plan for yourself. Today, what property you're holding? If you're holding a HDB, if you're holding a private property, how can you plan such that today you sell your property and you can aim to buy a bigger property? I think that's what everyone needs to go and plan for themselves. Because once you can start to plan this for yourself, you can easily plan this for your clients. So it's really this whole mentality that you have to keep moving to a bigger property unit, to keep moving to maybe multiple properties. Then you can get your clients to get moving as well. So these 3 homework, please go and do. If you need anyone to check, you just send to your upline. If not, you can send to me. I can have a look also. Then from there, that is how you learn. So just to reiterate, today's financial calculation and timeline planning, I cannot go through every single scenario. I've gone through the more basic ones. In terms of timeline planning, I've gone through slightly more straightforward one and more common timelines for you to actually look through. Most important, I need you all to go back and practice, because this one is not every single kind of timeline. So I need you all to go back and practice. Practice what? Practice how to draw these timelines, especially those that I haven't given to you, like the private ones. Okay? And very important, go and start to plan for yourself to go and buy more property or a bigger property this year. Because honestly speaking, looking at how past series 8, some of the units hit $2,000 per square foot when I bought Newton at $2,002 per square foot. The market is not moving. The market has already moved. So for those that haven't actually bought their property yet, now is really a good time to start planning. Okay, so that's about it for today's sharing and training. I hope you have found it fruitful. And very important, I just need to reiterate again, please go back and go and practice some more. Because attending to day 1, if you don't go and practice to draw a few more timelines yourself, all this info you will throw back on. Okay? Can? So thank you everyone for attending today's session, and I will still stay back for the next about 5-10 minutes to answer whatever questions that you all have. Apologies for the overrun. For those that need to leave, feel free to leave. See you. Okay. Okay, those that have questions, maybe you all can unmute yourself, then you can ask me. Then from there we can have a easier discussion.
Linden, this is Catherine. Hey, Linden, I want to check. Yeah, Linden, hi. I would like to check with you. For HDB, I was told that the stamp duty also need to pay by cash first. Is that true?
They are using HDB. Can use CPF? Why need to use?
But they said the lawyer said not enough time to withdraw from the CPF, so the stamp duty still have to use cash first.
Then to check with them. If the law firm is the one that told you, then that will be the most accurate. But most of my cases all can use CPF.
Is there any difference between HDB loan and bank loan or private lawyer or HDB lawyer?
For private, I think maybe it's more for the bank loan. But HDB loan one, all can use CPF.
Oh, okay. Okay, can, thanks.
No problem.
Linden?
Yes.
Yeah, can I just check, after you buy the HDB, okay, you can use up all the OA, right? Without reserving the basic retirement sum. So, but when you buy the second property, you're supposed to reserve the basic retirement sum. But the basic retirement sum is, let's say, for example, if you're only 30 plus or 40 plus, so is the basic one you have to ask from CPF, because the latest shown is only the 2022, right? So it will have to get this information from CPF, right? Case to case basis, right?
Yeah, just get from CPF.
Okay, so there's no way we can find out, or we can just add up the sum. It's interest, right?
I think it's the current. It's the current one. It's the current. If I'm not wrong, it's the current year BRS.
So whether you're 30 plus or 40 plus, you're based on the 2021 or 2022. Is that something like that?
Wait, because I did this for my clients, a couple of them, but it's quite a few years ago. If I remember correctly, it's the current, at that time, the BRS that year. But you can double check with CPF. Lor. Just make one quick call, then they should be able to, they will be able to give you a quick answer.
Okay, thank you.
Linden, Esther here. Can you go through the part about the using private lawyer instead of HDB lawyer? That part I don't quite get it. Is it due to the completion time? Is it we need to use a private lawyer?
Correct. If you use a private lawyer, your completion only needs to complete 3 weeks after. That means if you use a private lawyer, you complete here, correct? You're selling the pink one. Your private lawyer, you just count 3 weeks. You can complete here.
So if I use the HDB lawyer, the completion will be where then?
If you use HDB lawyer, your submission is here. So you can count submission to acknowledgement to completion. About 10 to 12 weeks later.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, any other questions?
Linden, just you are saying that you're going to give us some form, is it? What form is that? Also forgotten, sorry.
Mutual agreement.
Okay.
Fine form.
Leader, should I advise my client to sell his property first, or they are so interested to buy a property first?
Sorry. Okay, wait, one thing at a time. The extension form later, then I send you the link. Later, then I find the link. Okay. Someone's asking.
My client interested to buy a property, but he hasn't sold the property. Sell the property first.
So you have to plan for him the timeline. Can he buy first? If he cannot buy first, then he needs to sell first.
So I should advise my client to sell the property first. Is better, right?
Depends on his scenario. If he got enough money to buy first, he can afford and all that, then can buy first.
Oh, okay. So that means can buy first also, right? For HDB?
Can.
Can. Okay. So that means
Like just now, at the timeline I showed you, you buy first, ma.
buy first. Okay, then can sell. Okay. So not necessary that must sell first then buy. No.
No. Can
Ah.
sell first, can buy first, can do concurrent.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Kelly, you have Excel for sales proceeds or purchase usage. I don't have. You can use the PA app. Anyone got any questions or any questions that I missed
If
out?
you were to buy the purchase of a condo, right, before you sell your HDB, you still have to pay the ABSD in advance first.
Again?
For the, if let's say you still keep your HDB, you go and buy your private first before you sell, even though you have the within the 6 months, right? But you are supposed to pay ABSD, right? First,
Correct.
right?
You need
So
to pay
you
ABSD.
must have the ABSD fund first.
Correct. So for this kind of case, you draw two timelines. If they buy first, then they sell, versus they sell first, then they buy. Then you can see the difference already.
I think it's all boils down to the ABSD. If it's a large sum, then they don't have the cash on hand.
Yeah, if they don't have the cash on hand, then you can eliminate the option for them. Huh?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, then the other thing you need to take note, if they're buying a second property, if it's a second residential loan also got limit. First residential loan, private property, up to 75%. Second,
45.
So that one must take note because 45% loan means 55% down payment.
Yes.
Then if they haven't met their basic requirement sum, means all cash. So not a lot of people will have that.
Unless they finish the loan first.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Gilbert asking how to get and convince seller and buyer HDB COV before closing. Now the buyers more or less understand that there's COV in the market. It's only how much and can they afford or not. Gilbert, you want to unmute yourself then ask? Okay, if not answers Siting. What if a client has gotten her first HDB loan with ex-husband after divorce, house goes to her? Now she wants to sell the house and buy second HDB with her second husband taking a HDB loan. Yes, half her cash proceeds needs to go. That means what she get, her half of, because likely, she got the full cash proceeds from the first house,
Yeah, she got the full cash proceeds from the first house.
Then half the cash proceeds of that need to go into the second house.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
My client also kena like that.
Oh, okay.
That's why I know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. If owners stay in HDB until new launch TOP, can share on ABSD remission. So ABSD remission states that if you buy a second property with ABSD, if you sell the first property within 6 months of key collection, then you can collect back your ABSD. So this one you need to take note. It needs to be the matrimonial house. Then you can get ABSD remission. That means husband, wife in first house, or at least one of them. Then second one need to have both name one. Nancy, you're asking that, right? So what you need to take note is the private property, right, needs to have both name, husband, wife. Then they can apply for the ABSD remission. And they have to sell within 6 months of key collection. Okay.
Sorry, Linden, can I check with you? I'm sure for the same case, right? If let's say she hasn't sell her HDB, but with the husband that she's going to actually marry already, they saw a HDB that they like. Then can they buy the HDB first? Then after taking the keys completion, like within 6 months, she sell her current HDB.
Using HDB loan,
Yeah.
Can do that.
Okay.
But how they will minus the cash proceeds, I don't know. I never do like that before.
Okay, but then because the husband still got money in the CPF and stuff, can pay for the 10% of the HDB document, it's okay, right? So just within 6 months of keys collections, they have to sell.
Yeah, because HDB is HDB, very straightforward one. They cannot keep 2 HDB, ma.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually,
yeah.
Actually, the new husband is how old?
The new husband is only like 34 leh.
I mean, another way is that by right he can buy another HDB himself when he's 35.
Oh, okay.
Then because this is what some people do then they got 2 HDB ma.
But then they cannot get married, right?
Okay, the thing is, if they bought before they're married, HDB by right won't tell them to forfeit to force sell one.
Oh, okay, I understand.
The thing is, ROM and HDB they don't like fully exchange record one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is what some owners are doing in the market today lah.
Oh, okay, can. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Linden, based on what you say, I mean, so we got 2 singles who were 35 now, they get married and both own HDB. Then that means definitely one you have to rent out. But if you ask for permission, won't HDB come down? So now you're married, please sell one.
HDB won't know you're married one.
But if you're asking for permission to rent out,
why do you need to tell HDB they are married when you're renting out? If they're locals, then they don't need to tell. Like
but
for example,
I guess if it's after the 5 years MOP, probably there's no reason to ask. But if it's like within 5 years of MOP, then you need a valid reason, ma.
But
so
if
you just don't rent until after MOP what you're saying.
Yeah normally that's what they do But if it's within 5 years, I mean, let's say for example, I'm above 35, I buy a HDB. Suddenly I want to go, I need to go back to stay with my parents because maybe they are a bit old already. So I mean that can be a valid reason also, ma.
Okay. Okay.
I think Linden, since it's under single, there's no record that they're married at all. So when you report to HDB, the house is under one name, so there's no valid reason you explain any other thing.
Yeah. So as long as you don't go and tell HDB, hey, I'm married after that.
Because it's ownership is only under one name. So when you report to HDB, you're renting out the room or whatever thing, still under one person's name. So you don't.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Linden, another thing, based on this same thing that Siqing asked, then might as well the husband go and buy this HDB flat first, right?
That's why I recommend
then she don't sell first. But will the husband be subject to ABSD then? Then she doesn't need to have to so-called, the part about the half of your cash proceeds must go into the second loan. So if the husband buy first, everything goes through, then only she sell, then she still have her full amount of cash proceeds, right? Okay. And thanks.
Okay. Yes, Jeffrey, you want to ask, is it?
Yes, Linden, this is Jeff here. Can I just check that, let's say if a Singaporean husband marry a foreign wife, right? So because the foreigner wife obviously cannot be an owner and she can only be a essential occupier. Is that house considered a matrimonial home?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Then the other part is that for self-employed people like us, for example, is HPS actually needed or can be bought or not? Or only for so-called salaried staff?
HPS can be bought. Self-employed, all can buy ma. It's like insurance like that lor.
Okay,
You
so which means that if I let's say lose ability to work, and if I bought 100%, whether I pass on or lose ability to have an income, that means the wife will actually have the house fully paid off already, right? Unless I choose
HPS is not income. Sorry, HPS I'm not too sure about what disability. I only know in terms of passing
that.
on.
Okay.
I don't know the other terms. That one you have to double check in detail lah, whether disability is covered. But HPS, so there are some of my clients that instead of HPS, they go and get mortgage insurance or term insurance. Also can, nothing wrong. So it
Okay.
depends what their planning is. Like for myself, I bought my term insurance because I was younger at that time. So I know I'm going to get a bigger property. So I just keep adding my term insurance every few years. Lor.
Okay, that means for those who didn't go for term insurance and they just go for the usual HPS and they are actually self-employed, they can also buy, let's say, on a 100% basis, so that in let's say in a situation where they pass on, the spouse will already get the house fully paid, right? So to speak.
Correct.
Okay, can thanks.
Mm.
Sorry, just one more question. If let's say now I'm actually serving a buyer, how do we actually?
Sorry, can speak louder. I cannot really hear.
Oh, okay. I was actually saying that supposing now we are serving a buyer, how do we have an estimate of how much the COV for a house that they are looking at be derived?
COV that's a very
I know
good question.
a lot of cases now is actually above the so-called I mean there will be a COV in the transaction, but how to estimate roughly how much is required, because this will actually impact the cash flow and the affordability.
That's a very good question. One way, of course, you see the last few transactions. Okay. If let's say the last few transactions plus you go and do valuation with the banks or that, they give you 400. For example, you go and do H prop lah, SRX, X value, you do UOB lah, OCBC, you go and call. They give you valuation 400,000 range. Okay? Estimate lah. Today, if your transaction is, if your asking is at 450, then likely there's a 50,000 COV lah.
But I thought normally valuation for HDB flats are actually done by the HDB valuers, right? So would the banker actually do the valuation as well? I thought it's only for like private properties.
So bankers when you call them they can also give you an indicative. Even private properties, they don't give you 100%. They still give you indicative.
Okay.
When you go and call the bankers, they'll tell you it's an indicative, it's estimate only. Because like what you said, they will still have to, HDB units will still have to go through the panel of valuers from HDB. But now the thing is, some of the valuers under the bank's panels are also valuers under HDB's panels. So if they overlap, they'll give you a more or less accurate valuation. If they don't overlap, they still will give you agak-agak there one.
Okay, but I'm actually a bit skeptical about SRX kind of valuation because they tend to be quite off target. So but I do not know how realistic the bank's indications are. That's a concern.
Okay, so same thing, I also like that. So I will get SRX. So for me, I will get SRX. I'll do H prop. I do UOB, OCBC, DBS. I go and call a lot of banks. So that will give me a range, ma. Of course, it's not 100% accurate, but at least that will give me a range. So that's one way.
Okay, so you more or less average out all the response, right?
Correct. Second, you ask around. So PNG very big, right? Problem is very big.
Okay.
You know certain areas got certain GTA specialists.
Right, okay.
You call them lah. If not, suddenly you see maybe Pongo. You see this person got 8, 9 listing all in Pongo one. Then you call them and just ask them lah.
Okay, can. That's a very good approach, yeah.
I mean, of course, not everyone will be so willing to share, but generally, you ask them nicely, they will also tell you nicely lah.
Okay, can, got it.
But you cannot expect that you ask this person has to tell you everything, man. You have to understand that.
Okay, sure. Because I'm actually serving a buyer right now, and it's not in one of the usual places that I normally go. So I have no grasp of roughly what kind of COV will be involved in the buying.
If not, you can ask in whatever chat groups you are in.
Okay, can. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Linden, Justine here.
Mm.
Okay, earlier remember you for the one where the purchase price of the 4-room flat was 480, and then using HDB loan, right? Then the 10% down payment was 48,000. But remember, I was asking, I thought we would have given the 1 plus 4K. Shouldn't we minus this 5,000 from what we need to use under CPF? You said that you come back to it later.
Yeah, it's in the last part of the calculation, ma. It's in the next page of the calculation.
The next
because
page.
Because no matter what, they'll wipe out the CPF, ma. Justine, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to understand. Sorry, because I don't do HDB and I'm very slow when it comes to calculations.
Can basically, no matter what, they are going to wipe out the CPF. So you calculate first or you calculate later, it's still the same thing.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. Yes, someone else was asking something just now. Any more questions? No, Anyone got any questions? Okay, if not today, I'll end it here. You give me a couple of minutes, I will go and find the extension, the mutual agreement file, then I'll send it to this chat. Okay? If not today, I'll end it here. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.